Good morning. I'm Eric Reese, sir. By the end of the day, there will be at least one less NFL job available. ESPN's reporting the New York Giants are close to a deal with John Harbaugh to be their next head coach. Harbaugh's longtime offensive coordinator Todd Monken is also expected to follow in New York. When it's officially official, there will be 8 head coaching vacancies, including the Browns and the Steelers. In college football, Ohio State plucked a kicker from the portal on Wednesday. Redshirt sophomore Connor Hawkins comes up from Baylor, where he went 3 of 4 last year from 50 yards out. The transfer portal window closes on Friday. In other news, Ohio State's James Laurinaitis was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame yesterday for their class of 2026. And in college hoops, the 14th-ranked Ohio State women's squad beat Penn State 108-84 last night at the Schottenstein Center. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Need help recovering from the holidays? Get a holiday loan from BMI Federal Credit Union. BMIFCU.org/holiday loan.
Congratulations. Your morning just got a bit classier. A media legend, a ferocious linebacker, a clueless producer, and you. So raise a glass and act accordingly. This is Bishop and Laurinaitis.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. How you living, Threes?
Oh, I'm great, man. That felt good. That's like a warm blanket right there.
On a cold January morning, buddy.
Oh,
that's all you need. We
tell
got
me
snow
about it.
days everywhere.
Tell me about it. I was about to go on the road recruiting up in the great Northeast part of this state, and got a text this morning. Hey, Coach, school's canceled. Do you still want to come up? No, I think I'll pass.
I'll sit this one out.
Pass. Looks like I'm going to the facility today. Yeah.
You got a snow machine you can hop on? Pull some kids on a tube, maybe?
I tell you what, I do. I mean, Green and Sons are still kind. I still have a RTV out there, and it's funny. Like we have, we used to have all those tubes that we used to sled down, when we had the barn, and which I don't want to dive into because it's a deep regret. But the other, yeah, you did,
Yeah.
and. So anyway, we had like one tube left that actually works from that time because you deflate them and they move around, and sure they got holes in them. So I'm like, go on Amazon. I'm like, oh man, look at these awesome tubes. There's 2 tubes that first snow day we got. I'm like with tow ropes on it. I'm like, oh, the girls are gonna have a blast. And we haven't gotten any sustainable snow since. So that's great. I hope we get one more snow before so we can actually use these tubes.
Get one big snow would help. Obviously, the great James Laurinaitis on with us out of the gates this morning, and we'd have him on all the time if he were willing. He's a busy man. He's got a lot going on there up at the Woody. But, of course, yesterday was a very big day, my friend. You are the 4th Buckeye linebacker to be a College Football Hall of Famer. Gradisher, Spielman, Cousineau, Laurinaitis. How does that sound, pal?
I mean, it's surreal, to be honest with you. As I sit in my office here at the Woody, I look on the wall, and one of the things that I wanted to do when I first got back here was just educate our young players on the people that have kind of built this room up to what it is. And so, traditionally, a lot of the coaches have like the fat heads or whatever, those stickers of like former players that have played and all that. And I kind of wanted to do something a little different. So I have like these little cardboard, cutouts that are really nice in their graphics, but you start with Ike Kelly, and the reason why Ike's the first, backer All-American here, but also he still comes to like the captain's dinner every year. So it's like you'll see Ike present all the time, and so I think it's important that our guys like know who that is, like, and understand that he was the first to do it. And obviously Randy Gradishar, which, I mean, Woody called him the best linebacker he's ever coached, which is a high compliment, obviously, there from a coach like Woody Hayes, and then. Man, you go right along and you look at Coos and Marcus Merrick, who still holds the career record that will never be broken, right, for tackles here. I say never because it's like 500 something. Like, ain't nobody staying for that long. So
it's a long career, buddy.
So it's crazy. And Pep and Spiels and like all the guys. And it's humbling, man. It really is humbling to think that, you're just a 3-star kid from up north, and you got here and you just wanted to play ball and keep playing until you couldn't anymore. And you look up and you receive that football yesterday, and it brings tears to your eyes because you're like, shoot, that's a lot of work. And it's something that honestly, like, it wasn't even a goal, like it wasn't even something that you had in your mind. And for it to come, to fruition is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I always think for people such as yourself who accomplish things such as you have, I always think, like, do you ever dare to dream this big? And typically the answer is God, no. No.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, Hall of Fame is like...
Yeah. I think you become so obsessed with just, like, the process. And I think, the more you read on, like, gosh, you're constantly reading on guys who have accomplished great things when you're playing and when you're, all of that. And you just have this awareness of, like, when you are obsessed with the process of it all, man, you don't really have these big picture things like that. You have goals that are, like, right in front of you, but not like, Hall of Fame in college football. I think some of that kind of feels almost like uneasy, I aren't even going to say that out loud. It still feels surreal.
Well, from now on, every time you're introduced, it will be College Football Hall of Famer. That's going to be one of the things that's said, and that happens for the rest of your life, which is an incredible thing to be in that type of company. When did you go all the way back for me? When you got here, once you got here, when was the moment that you realized that you could play, that you were a dude?
I don't think it was until we had a scrimmage. I remember a couple sequence of events where, the quarterbacks always wore the black jerseys and, they couldn't be touched. And then all of a sudden you get in these scrimmages and it's like, that's all fun and games until, like, they start scrambling and then, they want to lower their shoulder with the black jersey on and you're like, that's not fair. And I'll never forget Robbie Schoenhoff, who was in my class, QB, big guy. Robbie was like 6'4", 6'5", and we're on, like, the 2-yard line and he, like, runs through, like, you're going up to thud him and kind of, like, get out of his way, and he decides just to lower his shoulder right through me, and you're like, okay, that's great. Then you hear Fickle call me soft and, all that stuff, and I'm like, all right. And so I'll never forget, like, one of the next times, like, Troy was scrambling, and you're on the field, and I remember hitting Troy around, like, the 1 or 2 yard line out of bounds, and that started a whole conniption. And so anyway, like, that's kind of when I felt was kind of the chance that I had to really play. It's like, you just have to make a play, and I think that's where, like, even now, man, like, when these young kids come in, I have an understanding of their lofty goals, and they should have them. We all have them, right? But there's some self-doubt that they'll never admit to you of, like, okay, I got to make sure I can do it at this level. And so what you hope for early on when these kids come in early is, like, you hope that they make a play in spring, because once they see themselves making a play on film, there's a realization of, like, okay, yeah, maybe I can do this. And it took me getting baptized over and over, even through, all fall camp by Nick Mangold when I'm on scout team, rest in peace. And you would watch and be like, okay, maybe one time I did get off Nick, maybe another time I got off Rob Sims' block. Okay, well, if I can do it to those guys, shoot, those are future NFL guys. Maybe I can. I just got to keep grinding and working and working and working. And I think it's really hard now. It was hard back then, but it was really hard even now, like in an instant gratification society, to just be like, if you just keep chopping at this thing and chopping and chopping, your break is going to come. But you got to be patient. And for some, it's right away. And for some, it might be 2 or 3 years down the road.
I know how much relationships mean to you in your life, and it's not lost on me that the Hall of Fame class includes Aaron Donald and Mark Ingram, who you got to be buddies with when you guys were with the Saints, and obviously Aaron with the Rams. And what does it mean? I mean, this is going to be a hell of a party, bud.
It will. I mean, first off, the first person I had to call after calling Shelly, obviously, was, I called Shelly, and I was just like, I remember just being like, you kind of had a hint, because Jerry Emig was the day before, was like, hey, where are you going to be tomorrow? Like, I need you to go to the Woody and pick up a package before 2 p.m. I'm like, what? And I was like, is this it? And he's like, I'm not saying anything. And I'm like, but first person I called was Shelly. And then after Shelly, I called Coach Tress. And I just felt like I had to say thank you for believing in me, and taking me, and obviously developing all of us into the people that we try to become, and so I called Tress, and he answered right away. Like, of course he did. And to happen to say, I'm blocking out that date right now, and I'm, you got the lieutenant governor here talking about, I'm with my scheduler right now, and we're blocking off the 7th through 9th. We're going to be in Vegas. I'm like, awesome. And then I had to call Luke, so I called Coach Fickle,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously said, man, thank you for making me tougher and better and sometimes scaring the crap out of me, and had to thank Luke. And because you're right, it's about relationships. Then I called Coach Haycock, and I called Coach Haycock and thanked him. And man, you're right. And then to be able to be a teammate with Aaron Donald and then celebrate with him. And then every time I see Mark Ingram on Big Noon Kickoff, he comes on the field, as they do from outside the stadium in. He gives me a big hug. We were only teammates for a year in New Orleans. And then what's also awesome, like the young James here, like I grew up loving Peter Warwick. Like Peter Warwick, man. Dude. I know you know a lot about Peter Warwick, and I like this guy, but man, when you want to imagine like the spin move of Braxton versus Vatek, like that was Peter play by play. Like that dude was electric, and so he may have been one of my first like all-time favorite college football players. And I didn't even really mess with the Knowles like that, but he was incredible. So like that's like a holy smokes moment. Like, that's the guy I'll walk up to and be like, hey, let me introduce myself, man. I was a huge fan of yours growing. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that.
The other thing that's not lost on me with all of this, and you mentioned Shell and the girls, and now you got the little man as well. But like your girls are going to be old. You see them on the field with you and all that, but like they missed your career. That now they're going to get to celebrate this type of thing. And there's some weight to that, buddy.
Well, I mean, there is. I mean, that could be a whole 3-thing segment yesterday. So Shelly's like, I mean, are you excited to tell the girls? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how are you going to do it? I'm like, I'm just going to give them the ball. Yeah, just give them the ball. Have them read the football, and says congratulations. And so London reads it, and she's like, what's this mean? I'm like, what do you mean, what's it mean? She's like, what's this mean? Are you playing again? I'm like, no, I'm not playing again.
Are you playing again?
Oh, yeah. Like, no, I'm not playing again. Read it. And Shelly's like, London, just read it. I'm like, hey, didn't you read it? Maybe you got a chance. Nope, nothing. Over her head. And I'm like, what's the date say? Like December 8th, Las Vegas, Nevada. And London goes, we're going to Vegas. And then she's like, oh, and congratulations.
So great.
Nowhere.
That is exactly how it should be.
I'm like,
that's
London,
exactly.
I'm like, London, I'm going into the Hall of Fame, meaning like they're acknowledging me as one of the best college football players to play the game. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, cool. We're going to Vegas. Congrats.
Nice trip,
right,
Dad.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. But it is an awesome moment, like to think of. I mean, Pat Chun texted me right from Washington AD, and he was here, and Gene Smith texted me, and Coach Day calls and with Ross and Kerry Hoyt and the whole crew, and it was a special feeling, and obviously very grateful.
Well, buddy, a Buckeye Nation loves you. This station, congratulations. We love you. The impact you had here, I love you, your family, all of it. It is so richly deserved. It is one of those things that you meant so much to so many people and continue to in this town, in the Buckeye Nation, and all of it. And so, congratulations, my friend. It's great catching up with you. It's richly deserved. Enjoy the heck out of this, and now go recruit, huh?
Yeah, of course. Never stop. When's the portal closed? Tomorrow? I don't know.
I don't know. All right, buddy. Congratulations, pal.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
All right, there he goes. James Laurinaitis joining us off the top of the show. He is a college football Hall of Famer. The fellas will react to James going into the Hall, his impact here as a Buckeye, as a player, now as a coach. The portal had some interesting things last night as well. Quite honestly, pretty loaded up here on a Thursday. Paul Finebaum going to join in about 16 minutes from now. We are off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. One of the great annoyances in life, at least for me, is the check engine light, right? You get in your car, you see the check engine light, and you go, I got to take care of that. I don't know what it is. So you let it sit there forever. It bugs you, and eventually a bigger problem happens. Well, every day in your house, your check engine light might be on, but it's not your engine. It's your windows, because you sit down on your couch, you feel the cold, drafty air coming in through your windows, and you go, I got to do something about these windows. But just like the check engine light, I'm afraid of how much it's going to cost, and I don't know where to go. I can't help you with your check engine light, but I can help you with your windows. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is going on now. Stop wasting money by letting the warm air in your house escape through your cold, drafty windows. You're spending more on your heating bills when you don't have to. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is the perfect time to address this problem. Plus, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. That could be yours as well. Schedule an estimate today. WindowNation.com.
Playoffs? Yeah, we're watching the playoffs at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Join me, Scotty Vegas, and Dave Biddle from On the Money Saturday, January 17th, starting at 4:30. The inflatable football toss will be out to show off your arm and win prizes. Watch and bet on the playoff games at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where Michigan fans get pie in their face, and you won't find better value than the steak dinner. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate, or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? I don't know. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
It's easy to think of winter as a time when not much is happening in the landscape or in the pest and disease world. However, there are a couple of services that can help your trees and shrubs during the colder months, like horticultural oil and anti-desiccant applications. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org to learn more and to find an ISA-certified arborist in your area who is trained and has the proper equipment to perform your tree work safely.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see a chance of flurries linger for us today. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and very cold and blustery with breezy winds and highs only in the low 20s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the teens. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of snow showers again. Light accumulations are expected, otherwise mostly cloudy with daytime highs getting in the mid to upper 30s and breezy winds continuing. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up. Show's a little different today. We got a lot of moving parts. Reese, by the way, this mustache situation you got going right now is spectacular.
Thank you.
I mean, this is everything that I like out of you. I like it slicked up, and then I like a nice hearty mustache like you got going right now. That's a gorgeous look out of you. So everything's all jumbled because we got this guy I used to do a show with who went into the College Football Hall of Fame, and so we want to have a little fun with him out of the gates. So Finebaum is going to join at 9:30, so he'll join in about 10 minutes. John Breach is going to join us at 10:30. We'll hit your email at 11 or 10 o'clock as we typically do. We'll pick the NFL divisional round at 11 o'clock, and then 11:30 we'll do a little bit of Shelley time. Do I have that mostly right, Reese?
Yeah, the schedule is correct. I'm just wondering, you're going to Vegas on December 8th, right?
Well, I haven't been invited, but, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm guessing those tickets are hard to come by. I was just thinking as he was saying that, like, that's Big Ten championship game weekend.
It's the Sunday, I believe, of what will be the 2026 Big Ten championship game.
Is this another show road trip? I mean,
I don't know if the whole show's going. I would just say that's on Bo's calendar now.
We might as well.
Less you
right?
and I.
We might as well take the whole show out there and.
Boy, you do Austin and then you do Vegas? Traveling roadshow? Who gets hurt?
We just do one of them, maybe.
That's a hell of a way to end 2026.
A little ambitious there, guys.
That'd be pretty good. So the one thing about the college football, like, and we were going through it, like, because it started so late, they have to have these massive classes and they have to catch up, right? And so, obviously, Threes is a first ballot College Football Hall of Famer. He's a consensus 3-time All-American. I mean, so that alone tells you kind of the jumping off point. But you have to backfill it. So you get these classes that include, contemporary guys or, relatively contemporary guys like Mark and Threes and Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald. And then mixed in the class is like Marvin Harrison and Kajana Carter and even some guys who played in the 60s. So you kind of get all of these things have to happen. You have these massive classes that come in because they didn't. It's a relatively new Hall of Fame by Hall of Fame standards. And so that's how these things happen. So it was never an if with Threes. It was always a when it was going to happen. And it was pretty damn cool to see it. It was obviously something that was just a matter of it actually happening. You guys grew up around here, and my first year here covering the football team was 2007. So he was a sophomore that year. I can't even remember. Junior? Yeah, 05. Yeah, 06. No, junior year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sometimes the years kind of skew, but covered those two teams in his junior and senior year, and then came back into the show with them, and obviously one of my good buddies now. But for you guys, and what do you remember about him as a player, and then as you've gotten to know him as a person? He
kind of did the Chris Olave before Chris Olave did it, where Bob, I think, breaks his leg, and it was the 04 Michigan game. And then James steps in and then plays in the Fiesta Bowl. And then it's like a rocket ship. Like, he's one of the best linebackers. I mean, you named them. The linebackers that are all Americans and College Football Hall of Famers. List is short. James is on it. And so you get him, I mean, being an incredible player, a leader, and then getting to know him as a person, just working with him, in the latter years that he was here at the Fan. It's like, how could you be a better person than a football player? He is, and he was an incredible football player. Like, he still has, I think, the Los Angeles, then St. Louis Rams all-time leading tackles. Like, he's still up there on that. And Aaron Donald was part of that franchise, too, which is cool that they're going at the same time.
Bo, real quick, before I get into James, you mentioned somebody else going in this class, and Kajana Carter, and he's a local kid. Went to Westerville South, and I remember back then, Grove City and Westerville South both had really good football teams, and they had really good running backs. And I remember going to some of those games and watching Kajana Carter take on Lou Willard, and Lou Willard, who went to Ohio State. He blew out his knee his senior year at Grove City, and it never panned out for him. But, I mean, just some great matchups with them. And then I've talked about seeing Andy Katzenmoyer a few years later play at Westerville South. But congratulations to Gajana, a local kid. And, again, just didn't pan out for him in the NFL, kind of injuries. But, man, he was a ridiculously talented football player.
Yeah.
I remember that time for Ohio State was so crazy for linebackers because you had that ballyhooed class of Bob and AJ and Mike DeAndrea, who was like the star of that class, come in before James did. And then those guys obviously lived up to the hype. And then James and Marcus come in, and maybe not quite as hyped. And I love your comparison, Reese, to Chris Olave, because James was a guy that just whenever he got a chance to get on the field, kind of like Olave, whatever the role was, you could just tell this dude was a player.
Yeah.
And you heard Tyvis this morning talk about his motor, and I've only gotten to meet James twice, I believe, so I don't know James. like you guys do, but I can look over at this YouTube chat right now and see all of these people. Like, what a way to start a Thursday morning. So good to hear him. And none of these people know James, but just the effect that he's had on them from listening to this program or watching him play, like, that's the true test of someone. And I've seen James this year with his girls. And just what a family man is, having those girls on the sideline with him and throwing the football to them. It's just, you can just tell what not only a great football coach and a great player he was, but a great man and a great father.
Well, did you notice he won't talk about himself?
Never.
So I tried to get him to talk about, but he won't. That's not how he's wired. He's not wired that way. We were just texting back and forth, and he sent me a picture. I don't think he'll worry. He'd be mad about this, but he sent me a picture of his office, and it's got like all the great linebackers' pictures in his office. Guess whose picture is not on the wall?
His.
Yours.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah. The most decorated of all of them, and he is. He's the most decorated of all of them, and he's not, because it's not how he's wired. He's not built that way. And you don't have the reputation that the folks in the YouTube chat are talking about, the way that you guys just talked about him, the way I've gotten to know him and talked to him about him for all these years. You don't get that unless you treat people right. And that's what he's done his whole life, is treat people right. It would be very easy for him to have been entitled at any point. There was none of that. There's never been any of that with him, even as all the accomplishments came in. He used to come on Wall to Wall Sports with me and Dom all the time. Him and Marcus did. And they'd come on, while they were playing, they would come on and do a segment here or there. Never an ego. Never. Like, just thrilled to be a part of it. He could have been, it would have been very easy for you to have been a difficult person to deal with. He was none of that. And that's why all these years later, there's still this incredible amount of adulation and love for him, not just as a player, now as a coach, as a family man, all of it. He's everything you'd want a Buckeye to be.
Real quick from the corrections department. So I was looking at the 2025 December calendar. In 2026, December 8th's a Tuesday. So he'll be inducted that Tuesday after the Big Ten championship game. So, it'll be a little hectic because I think as you were talking to him, he was just, canceling travel plans to Northeast Ohio because, there's just a little bit of snow up there to go recruiting. And so it's like after the Big Ten championship next year, when Ohio State wins the 2026 Big Ten championship, we'll talk it into existence now. It's like, okay, we'll now prepare for the college football playoff.
How about this? And I know we got to go to a break to get to Paul, but 32 NFL teams, 4 of them, all-time leading tacklers, Ohio State Buckeye linebackers, and James is one of those.
Yeah, that's a great one. Real quick, who are the others? Spiels,
AJ, and Randy Gradishar.
Oh, Gradishar. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool. Paul Finebaum in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice here. It's a new year, so why not start it off with a new car from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion, where the savings are rolling all month long. You can lease a brand new 26 Chevy Equinox LT for just $279 a month for 36 months with $3,369 due at signing. Or if financing is more your style, grab it for only $399 a month for 96 months with $1,000 due at signing. Terms and restrictions apply. They're just off Route 23095 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Steve here from USA Insulation. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why your thermos keeps your coffee hot? Because it's insulated with foam. So let us do the same thing and insulate your home with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. The cold weather's here. There's nothing better than sitting in a warm, comfortable home with your loved ones and keeping that cold, drafty air outside. So make the call today, 529-2440, 529-2440, or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation. There's a light that only shines when we believe. A light that doesn't flicker, it explodes. We don't wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. We light it ourselves. The cannon is primed, Fifth Line. Tickets on sale now at BlueJackets.com.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at GermainToyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum.
And an hour earlier than normal for Mr. Finebaum. Paul, thanks so much for taking the time as always. I got to start, buddy. I got to give you a little bit of credit. A lot of credit. In one of our conversations over the last year, you said something to me about how once the NFL playoffs take off, the interest in the college football thing from your perspective in terms of what you're asked to do at the worldwide leader starts to dwindle a little bit. So last year we're in the game here, and Ohio State's in the game, and we're in it, and that we're covering it, and it felt like the biggest thing in the history of the world. But when you're not in it, it almost feels like this thing is happening in a closet, the way that this has all worked out with all the NFL conversation around. I was still talking about it, but to me, it now that you're not covering a team that in it, it's a very different feeling, and you nailed that last year.
Well, and Bo, it's only because I've lived it. And just for example, yesterday I was supposed to be on First Take, and of course Tomlin resigns, and they blow the whole show up. And by the way, you and I understand that.
Yeah,
we're on the air live. We have a good guest. Maybe not a pertinent guest, although in this case it is fairly pertinent considering the game's Monday night and a major story breaks. And you just say, flood the zone. Let's get everybody on. So if you watch ESPN, you will maybe see a cursory mention. Now, Monday, it all changes. Monday, they flip a switch. But the problem is, I think Sunday night, ESPN has an NFL game on, so that's where all the attention Saturday morning, Sunday. I've referenced this before. I have sat at a site, whether it's in L.A. or Santa Clara or Houston or anywhere, the weekend of the game, and literally you have nothing to do on the biggest weekend of the year because ESPN is not only. It used to be the wild card weekend. Now it's the divisional, and if that's not even the issue, it's the coaching changes.
Yeah, and the damnedest thing is you and I recognize that this isn't working in terms of the calendar. We can recognize that. Every coach I talk to, every assistant, head coach, you talk to presidents, athletic directors, they're all like, this calendar's not working. We got to get this thing sorted out. And yet every time you get the American Football Coaches Association, the first thing they're worried about is redshirt numbers and games played. Why can't what is going on? Why can't we get this very simple thing? To me, it seems very simple. Why can't we get this thing aligned? Or why isn't it a priority?
It should have been, and I think they let it go. And there's a pretty easy fix to it, and that is to play the national championship game this Saturday night. But the conference commissioners let go of this a long time ago. Their partner is ESPN. ESPN could have gone to the table with the NFL and said, listen, we had Monday night last week. We'll trade you. But the NFL just overwhelms everyone, including where I work. You know that, Bo. Yeah. And it is such a mess now that I don't really believe it's fixable. All day long yesterday on our show, people call and say, hey, I got a great idea for the playoff. I don't want to hear it because they have two concepts on the table right now, and it's highly unlikely it's going to get done. And really, the size of the playoff is the least of the concern. It's the way it's presented, and just keep watching. You will, if you see a college football mention between now and Sunday, I'll give you a prize.
My guess is you're not going to have to pay up. Let's do a little bit on the actual football, because as we're living in these portal worlds, and we're just musical chairs, right? A former 4-star goes from Alabama to Ohio State to Notre Dame, Oregon to Notre Dame, and they all just kind of move around, and that's it. But we have two teams who have mastered this, and you've been around college athletics more than me. I've never seen anything like it. None of us have seen anything like Indiana, and the way that they put it on Alabama and then put it on Oregon last Friday night. To me, it feels like a fait accompli that they'll do it on Monday to Miami too. How do we make sense of Indiana? Because I'm having a tough time with it.
I don't think you can. It feels very much like a one-off. Now, Bo, I went back and looked at the AP preseason top 20 yesterday. Those are the experts who are picking these teams. They study it all year long. Indiana was 20th. You live in that league, and we never talked about Indiana. We talked about Penn State. We talked about Ohio State. And to me, I think this is an outlier. And before we award Curt Cignetti as the greatest coach since Newt Rodney, I think we really ought to wait. I applaud him for putting it together, but I think it's so many things that you've already talked about. It's a perfect storm. He had a ridiculously manageable schedule, and he was able to develop an older team. And I don't know how you get them to play the way they have at this late date, but nobody else has been able to do it. And I also blame two other people in college football for allowing Curt Cignetti to get away with this. One is Kirby Smart, and the other one is Ryan Day, because I really looked at both of them as potential national championship winners this year. I never considered James Franklin in the conversation, nor did I Dabo Swinney, but both of those were capable of managing a team to win the national championship, and they both fell short.
Yeah, they did, and I think what I think they're all trying to retroactively figure out some of what Cignetti has done at Indiana, and I think the big key to this, and this goes to Miami too, is we got to get older. And one of the things that I can kind of seems like that's happening up here around the Buckeye program is I don't know if we're going to bring in 28 recruits every year is kind of their thinking, and then that maybe there's a different way to do this. As you've lived through the first 10 days here or so, a couple of weeks, the portal closes on Friday. What lessons are you learning from the Blue Blood programs down there? Are they learning lessons on how to build a program? What changes are being made?
I can tell you what, they're beside themselves right now. I've never heard Alabama fans saying, we got to blow the system up. You managed that system for 17 years under Nick Saban, and you managed it by having the best first-teamers, the best second-teamers, and some of your third-teamers were future All-Pros. And they're struggling to understand that a lot of the Blue Bloods are striking out. They're saying, how come we don't have Indiana-like money? It's fairly laughable to hear that, by the way, Bo. And I don't think there are really going to be too many lessons learned from this other than let's keep trying to add more schools to the playoff, hoping that gives us a crack in the door. I don't think it would make much difference. Indiana was still the best team, and we realized that on the night of the Big Ten championship game that they could be. I still thought Ohio State was the best team that night, but Indiana took that lesson and developed it in the playoff. And I just think you're going to get a lot of soul searching here. But as far as who has managed the portal, Lane Kiffin has done a pretty good job. Not many others have.
Is it you mentioned obviously Kiffin and LSU, and they were loaded for bear for this. Alabama, what happens with DeBoer? I mean, they were so worried that he was going to take a job at Penn State and maybe he's going to go to Michigan and all these things. And I'm looking, and Bama guys are jumping ship. We got two of them that are coming up here to play for the Buckeyes. What is the sense of what is happening there, and how do they? Can that train ever get back on the tracks?
It feels very desperate. I mean, we are, 15 games into the new year. It was 2 weeks ago today that Alabama lost to Indiana, and I have rarely ever seen a stock price plummet like this. If he had lost that game by 7 points, I don't think people would be terribly upset. They felt good about winning against Oklahoma. That game doesn't count anymore. And I had an Alabama fan come up to me Saturday in Birmingham and say, I don't feel as bad, after watching Oregon lose by 34 to Indiana. I mean, in the history of Alabama, I've never heard a statement like that. We lost by 35. They lost by. I mean, you're talking about Indiana, but the smart fans don't buy that, Bo. And I think DeBoer is as close to dead man walking as anybody I've ever seen coming off of a playoff.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Last one down there, and then I want one question on the game. Who down there, other than LSU, seems to be in a pretty good place, relatively speaking, as we get close to the portal closing on Friday?
Texas was unreal. I know you're not surprised by that, but Texas went in and got the best wide receiver out of Auburn, Cam Coleman, who was just heading to Alabama. And then they went into Alabama. Alabama got a commitment from a running back from NC State, Hollywood Smathers. I think that's Smothers, whatever his name is. before he even signed, Texas came in and stole him. And that hurt more than anything because the Alabama, I don't need to tell you, does not have a running game, and now they finally found the running back. And probably the most interesting story down here all week was Kai Simpson, who really didn't have a future at Alabama. He was wooed by Tennessee and a couple of other schools. He decided to turn down about $6 million and go to the NFL draft, which wasn't a bad idea once Dante Morse decided to stay home.
Yeah, probably the second player off. Get you out of here on this one. You give Miami a chance on Monday?
Not much of one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've seen Miami a lot, as you have. And, I mean, they're a good team, but by no means are they great. They happen to they barely got by Ole Miss. I mean, their best game was against Ohio State. I still can't figure that one out. I know you've discussed it a few times, but they should have gotten knocked out at Texas A&M. It shows you how fortunate this team has been. But I think it'll be a moderately decent game, but no reason to watch in the fourth quarter.
All right, buddy. Good stuff as always. Appreciate you. We'll do it again next week. Thanks for your time.
Enjoyed it. Thanks, Bill.
All right, there he goes. Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show, ESPN and the SEC Network on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. He mentioned the portal. The Buckeyes landed a position of big need. We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, you know how it seems like everything just moves faster nowadays? You mean like technology and all those crazy inventions? Well, our furnace repair buyback program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get Eco.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get Eco.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Don't start the new year with the same old ride. Right now, score low lease payments on all 2026 models, like $149 a month for a brand new Elantra or $159 for a new Sonata. Hurry in and kick off the new year right. Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit $39.95 down plus tax, title, and fees. 2-year lease with 10K miles per year. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Ends 2/2.
Ms. Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
I lost count of how many foster homes I lived in. 20, maybe more. Each time, a new family, a new room, but never a space that felt like mine.
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a permanent home.
Now I have my own room and decorated it myself. And just like my family, it's mine to keep.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Weekend. The Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Ohio Credit Union, is back and bigger than ever at the Ohio Expo Center. Whether it's your first adventure or you're a seasoned outdoor enthusiast, this show has it all. One ticket gets you into all 3 buildings so you can see the latest in RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, and more. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more. It's all here. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 9th through 18th. Get details and tickets at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to SleepBetterColumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, guys, we got a lot going on in the sports world today. The news this morning. This one happened overnight. It's rare you see this. I was awakened at 5:38 this morning, which is a little earlier than normal for me. And the reason for that was a snow day was on the other end of it. I don't know why it couldn't have been called last night at like 11. Like you kind of knew what was coming, maybe shut it down then, but instead it was 5:38. And at that time, within a couple of minutes of that, there was the report from Schefter that John Harbaugh would be the next head coach of the New York Giants and that deal was locked up. So that seemed to have been negotiated like in the middle of the night. Then I was thinking about, if you're Schefter, are you just on the clock this time, like 24/7? Like, he's working on a story at 4 o'clock in the morning? Like, does he sleep?
He kind of looks like it, where he looks, I mean, he's on Get Up right now. I think he's been on Get Up since I arrived in the building. He looks like he could use a nap.
Yeah, he's got some raccoon eyes going on here this morning.
Not wearing a tie, his shirt's unbuttoned. Yeah, I mean, this guy's...
Well, that's the way now, Uncle Dom says. No ties at all.
Oh, he's not wearing ties anymore?
No, no ties, undo the top button.
There's a way to do it, but the way Schefter's got it, because Orlovsky's doing the same thing, but Orlovsky looks like he's been prepared to be on television. Schefter looks like he just rolled off the couch, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain people on television. And then you've got Taylor Lewan in a T-shirt.
Black T-shirts.
So whole gambit.
Things have changed a little bit.
I think Schefter's got to just have a bed somewhere there, right?
Yeah.
Like a cot. They were just...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because how do you get in? Yeah. So, like I said, like if he's publishing the report around 6 a.m., it was right, I don't know exactly when it was.
Oh, no, it was early. Yeah.
But it was somewhere like that. It was in either the 5 o'clock hour, right around 6 a.m. when he first published the report. And then all the other insiders were doing it too. Some of those guys are on the West Coast. So, I mean, that's 6 o'clock is at now 3 a.m. I think that's probably easier than 6, maybe just stay up. I don't know. But the way the timing of all of that was fascinating to me, that he was following a story basically in the middle of the night.
So, Bo, I woke up around the same time, and I thought I saw that Schefter's initial report on this was like 5 or 6 hours before.
Oh, was it? Maybe like 5, maybe like midnight?
Yeah, like he had tweeted this late last night, and then it just kind of developed.
So the ESPN time, it's timestamped January 14th at 11:55 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so it was late last night.
Late last night.
So
okay.
My guess is they probably choppered him in on ESPN's or the Mickey Mouse helicopter and just got him ready to do this. It's interesting, the two different ways that NFC East teams have done their head coaching in the last 12 months. Yeah. Dallas Cowboys Friday news dump Schottenheimer. The Giants are like, we got to be the first thing in the morning on every single piece of sports news. Yep. And they get the Giants stuff, or they get the John Harbaugh stuff at 6 a.m. So when everybody goes live in the morning, Thursday, this will likely trickle into Friday and into the weekend. They get to monopolize everybody's discussion.
And I totally get this from John Harbaugh's perspective. It's an iconic franchise. My guess is he has complete say over personnel in everything that's going to happen with personnel. He gets to bring in whatever he wants from his staff. He must have liked Jackson Dart, right? Liked what he saw there. Liked Scadaboo. Certainly likes Malik Neighbors. So you have this young talent that now you can mold into your own with an iconic franchise. So it's not that far in terms of geographically from where you've lived all these years. Don't they? I want to say they have a vacation place in Jersey. So all of these things kind of add up a little bit. This was always one of the spots. Oh, dude, Jersey Shore. Come on, little Avalon.
I've seen the show.
No, not that. There's another Jersey Shore further south.
That's the Springsteen one?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another one that's the Jersey Shore too, but there's another one. I've told you guys that story. My buddy produced that show.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, dude, I got something that's gonna blow your mind. And it was the Jersey Shore. He was working on that show 2 days out of Hoover, Alabama, when he got the news that they were greenlit for the Jersey Shore. So,
what's a more wild life to live? Hoover, Alabama high school coach, or The Situation?
I'll tell you what, equal. Because if you go Google Rich Propst, who was the head coach at Hoover, and go look at what happened in his life. I mean, my guy was living a double life. He ended up coaching one of the iconic schools in South Georgia, Valdosta High, winningest high school football program ever. He had a wife and kids, and then he had a second wife and another kid that the original one didn't know about. So the show is just the tip of the iceberg of that.
I know someone like that here in town that had a life like that. So
I'm not supposed to say that on air.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't say who.
No names. Protect the innocent.
And, Bo, you mentioned John probably having full reins here. It sounds like he's bringing Todd Monken with him. So if you were wanting Todd Monken as your Browns coach or your Buckeyes offensive coordinator, it looks like that domino is not happening.
Very good job out of you pointing that out. Yeah, that seemed like that was the way it was going to go, that they were going to go together. And obviously, it's the home run hire. He's the one no-brainer in the whole cycle. Everybody else, you're trying to find the next McVay, LaFleur, or whatever. But, he's the known one. And that legitimizes the Giants in a nanosecond. I teased this. Portal news from last night. Former Baylor kicker Connor Hawkins commits to Ohio State, redshirt freshman in 2025. He made 18 to 22 field goals, 81.8 success rate. Perfect from inside the 40, 10 out of 10. 5 of 8 from 40 to 49. Made 3 of 4 attempts from 50 or longer. His longest was a 54-yarder. The Buckeyes, my friends, have a kicker.
Yes. Last piece. Now the 2026 roster. Good to go, right?
Kicker. I don't know if it's that, but it's... I still am looking for the some sort of database that shows where are we numbers wise. I know Pantone would have one, but I haven't seen anybody online that has a database of here's who's on the roster, here's who's there.
No, and I don't think you will, at least until probably next week. Once the portal, because you have numbers with everybody. On3's got 3,068 players into the portal. 1,600 have got out of the portal. 35 have withdrawn their name from this. It's interesting when you hear Paul talk about the consternation in the South about how the state of college football. It's well, SEC, you kind of did this to everybody. Oh, and also Texas with the Longhorn Network. You blew all of this up. But if you ask schools' fan bases around the country, are you happy with the transfer portal and how it's going for your team? I think everybody but Texas and LSU and maybe Texas would be thrilled.
Texas Tech.
Right now? Maybe, with how things are going. But then I asked the question, would you rather have Texas Tech, Texas, Oregon, LSU's on the field, or Ohio State's on the field? That's why I say, don't get too up in arms about what happens with the transfer portal until the dust has all settled on this.
That's part of the bigger talk, but I think a big reason that there is so much consternation about who's leaving in the portal is there is a culture that we fall in love with it, which is recruiting culture. So, you get told this is the next so-and-so in recruiting, we got to have him, and then they sign on the line which is dotted, and then you just assume that's who they are. And the reality is there are misses. There are guys that get on campus, and they're not that type of player. So I think that contributes to kind of the unrest that sometimes can happen when people jump in the portal, that you assume they're the next Malcolm Jenkins.
And I think the thing around here, too, you just look at the wide receiver room. And you've had wide receiver rooms that we've talked about, one that had 5 first-round picks in it just a few years ago, and people just can't believe, I don't know I don't know who our wide receiver depth is. Well, you only played 3 this year, so you really don't need more than 3. So, Bo, this next statement I'm going to make, I'm sure, meant something way different 20 years ago, but your Florida State Twins jumped in the portal last night. They're officially in, so.
Good double entendre out of you. Florida State twins jumped in the pool.
Oh,
well done. Yeah, put that on one of the rejoins. That's
the
very
promo.
good. Very good job out of you on that. Yeah, that was the only goal. Just find a way to get everybody back to one of those apartments that had swimming pools. That was the whole goal of the whole operation, kids. All right, second hour of the program coming up next. Continue to update you on the portal as it happens. We are opening up the mailbag first. Our buddy John Breach from NFL on CBS will join us at 10:30. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, one thing our Pella Columbus team is really serious about is to not be salesy or pushy. We're just here to listen and hopefully make your dream a reality.
Oh, I had a dream last night where I went back in time to a dinosaur's birthday party and had to fight a triceratops for the last cupcake.
I meant more like home makeover type of dreams.
Oh, okay. I just got the dinosaur thing.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1-2-3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra. Exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
this is a type of blood cancer.
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRIP to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRIP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRIP for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much left because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NFL coaching carousel is spitting out John Harbaugh, who's going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. It'll be a 5-year deal for the 63-year-old Harbaugh, who's bringing Todd Monken along as his offensive coordinator. There are still 8 coaching vacancies in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers are working to extend head coach Matt LaFleur. The divisional round starts Saturday in Denver with the Bills and the Broncos. In college football, Ohio State grabbed a kicker out of the transfer portal Wednesday. Redshirt sophomore Connor Hawkins comes in from Baylor. He was 3 of 4 from 50 yards out last season. Lineman Austin Saraveld and Carson Hinsman announced they'll return to Ohio State in 2026. Sonny Styles is heading to the NFL. Oregon's Dante Moore is also going to return to Eugene for the 2026 college football season. And the Blue Jackets host the Canucks tonight at 7. You can hear it on The Fan with coverage at 6:30. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Thursday. Some little bit of breaking news on the college athletics side of things. Pat Forty, among others. Federal investigators today are filing sports bribery and wire fraud charges against 20 people in relation to gaming, fixing, point shaving, performance manipulation in college basketball. Among them, gamblers Shane Hennon and Marvis Fairley. I don't know who those two cats are. Maybe gambling folks do. And several former players. Per the indictment, former Chicago Bulls player and LSU standout Antonio Blakeney has been charged elsewhere in the investigation. Blakeney's name came up in the NBA-related gambling case but was not charged. This is inevitable. This was inevitable. It's the sport's so big, and it's also inevitable you're going to get caught. Like, I don't know how you get away with anything anymore with all of the electronic information that's out there that's all trackable. I don't know how that is. To this point, I haven't seen any other names in this thing. This is all just breaking in the last couple of minutes. But in terms of where the players are coming from or any of that, I haven't seen anything beyond that. Do you have anything on that, Reese?
Just that Marvis Fairley purports to be the #1 sports gambling consultant on Instagram and Facebook. He's got 25,000 followers on Facebook, 35,000 on Instagram. So he's today's call the toll-free hotline.
Oh, okay.
Or like you get the recorded message on the hotline. Yeah, he's that to the social media age, I guess.
Okay. All right. So there you go on that side of things. We'll keep you updated. If we see some names or some folks that we're familiar with, we'll keep you updated on that. Time to open up that mailbag. Hit it, guys.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
And we should update you while we're doing the segment that we are working on a specific email for this segment. Because it turns out that the issues that we had with the email server here were finite. And so if you go on the site and you try to click through and email us directly, we're not seeing those. So the folks that are emailing me directly, we're getting those, but we're going to come up with a bigger solution. Put our big brain hats on, and we came with a better solution. We're going to get an email that is easy and everyone can send these to. So we're getting that up and operational soon. Let's start with this one from John. What's up, fellas? First-time emailer, daily listener. Love your guys' work. We appreciate that. As I sit here on a Portal Edition Tuesday morning, I find myself glancing at the team's transfer page on 24/7. After the news yesterday, the Buckeyes signing Rasaw and Smith from Bama, suddenly we're sitting with the 8th best Portal class, according to 24/7, on top of signing the 5th best high school class last month. Suddenly, maybe an offensive lineman or two, a defensive back away from being a roster that once again can compete, except with a greater mixture of young talent and Cincinnati-style 14-year veterans disguised as college players. Good job out of him. Now some people might look at the number of outgoing transfers compared to incoming, which currently sits at 31 to 11, respectively, and still feel uneasy, but I'm not sure that's at least partially by design on Ohio State's end. The 2025 roster had 119 players. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in a world where Division I AA walk-ons have ages, it feels like it would behoove all involved to not be spending American dollars on players that far down the roster, especially if a quarter of them will transfer out after each season anyway. As the sport inevitably shifts to more NFL-like model, I'm wondering if rosters will start to max out at the 70-80 range in terms of the amount of players. Last week, Austin Ward alluded to the possibility of Ohio State's recruiting classes shrinking to 15 to 20 in the future. To me, that sort of drives the theory home. All of this to say, it's clear the folks inside the Woody have had a plan all along. I'm officially out of panic mode. My confidence the program is back, and I acknowledge it should never have left to begin with. I'll try to do better next time, but, lunatic fringe and all that. First of all, no, I don't think that everything in their plan they executed perfectly. I think there's a lot of trial and error here. They're bringing it home here in the last week in a very, very big way. But one thing I'm really proud about on this show, we didn't panic about all of those jumping in. And I think we did a pretty good job of outlining what we believe their plan to be, which was retain your stars first. Keep your starters first. Then dip your toe in the portal, let the market kind of settle, and then get into serious conversations as the market settled. Ohio State was never going to jump in and pay X amount of money. Would they have loved to have Cam Coleman and Chaz? Yeah, of course. They would have loved to have those guys. I'm sure they would have. I'm sure they were in on them. But there is a finite amount of money to be spent, and they're landing the plane on some of those things. He brings up something that I've talked about behind the scenes. I think we mentioned it once earlier this week on the air. These roster sizes, I'm not suggesting they go to NFL roster sizes where it's less than 60, but they need to be about 70 or 80 at most, because he's 100% right. You cannot be worried about the bottom 40 on a roster. So to me, there will be, where this is kind of going right now, is there will be a 30 or 30 players that you really take care of, another 20 that you take care of, but they're sort of developmental. And then beyond that, the rest of them, it's more like regular college football, old school ways. So I think he's dead on the roster size thing, though. And I think that's something that if one of the billion things coaches would like to have a conversation about is probably roster size.
I was trying to think yesterday, we were talking about the red shirt, where it's going from 5 games to 9 games. And some people are arguing, why not just make it, with the years played, just make it 5 years to get 5 years in. Yeah. Like the roster size thing is probably the next item they tackle, because I think coaches are looking, all right, what can we actually get done here without having to worry about approval from anybody else? Because I think college football and college football coaches are trying to do 2 different things. We have college football decision makers like Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey trying to maximize content and expand the playoff. Coaches actually want to make this reasonable for them and for their life. And I think these little things that they can do, much like roster sizes, much like the red shirt, are stuff they can get done in a relative short order.
And we talked about this earlier this week. The 105 max roster size is going into effect here soon. And to get to that, you're going to have walk-ons, too, to fill out to that 105 probably. So this is all kind of changing in real time. Also, Bo, unless it was one of these schools that changed head coaches, like an LSU, for the most part, all of the big schools waited till this week to really start hammering and filling out their roster. So they kind of had the same dilemma going on. Let's keep some of our guys, the guys that we really want to keep. Let's get them locked in. And then we can start filling in the pieces. You saw LSU get a lot of people, Penn State get a lot of people, Virginia Tech, but a lot of those had coaching changes, so they were bringing their own guys with them.
Yeah, you're seeing the high-end shopping has taken place in the last 5 or 6 days.
Was it Tuesday? Monday? It just seemed like dominoes started falling.
It did, yeah. And the other thing that happened here in the last few days, and that this was happening at the beginning, but it wasn't as obvious. Coaches are calling guys who aren't in the portal saying, get in. Like, hop in the portal. We'll take care of you. We just need you to get in there. Like, that's all happening. Like, I laugh anytime I hear somebody talk about we got to follow the rules. There aren't any. There's nothing to follow. There's nothing that's being enforced. Everyone's doing whatever the hell they want. To that end, this one for Brian, who writes, hey, guys, I agree that Dan Lanning is a superior coach and has accomplished a lot at Oregon, but at what point does Phil Knight ask himself, where is my ROI? Yeah, he's gotten us close, but when push comes to shove, I do believe, will he ever get over the finish line? Does Phil Knight start looking to the future as much as he have left and say, what do I have to do to close the deal? That conversation that he just illuminated, the one with, hypothetically, with Dan Lanning at Oregon, is one that college coaches, for example, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, are going to have to deal with. There are questions that college coaches at the in Austin, Texas, are going to have to deal with. Unless you've won one, and honestly, even if you have, that our memory isn't great on those type of things. But unless you've won one, there's going to be conversation of, hold on now, I'm paying you $12 million a year. I'm giving you $50 million a year for the roster. You're telling me I got to give you this to get the players that you want to compete for a championship. Where's my damn banner? And that's the other thing. You guys have seen the legendary, I don't know if it's legendary, but it's a guilty pleasure. You've seen the movie Blue Chips? You remember the booster, Hap? There's a billion of those guys running around college football right now. Like, I got you your guys, go win. This is the deal we made. It's my money, go win. And that is now all above board. It used to be under the table. You could hide from it. You can't anymore.
If I was Brian, the emailer, and if I was Phil Knight, I would look no further than right here in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Because those same conversations were being had about Ryan Day before he won a national championship last year. And Dan Lanning, very similar to Ryan Day in the fact that his first head coaching job was there at Oregon, where they spend the money like a national championship program, and they want to win a national championship more than anything, just like here at Ohio State. So before I would look at getting rid of Dan Lanning, I would just kind of look here at Ohio State and remember Dan Lanning has to go through these growing pains, just like Ryan Day did.
You're not entitled national titles. They're really hard.
No, Bo, I want my trophy. I deserve my trophy.
You got yours.
It's a good Phil Knight cosplay. But they just, so Dante Moore's coming back to Oregon.
Wow.
Yep.
What do you do with Dylan Raiola?
Well, he's got to go back in the portal, right? He's not staying there.
He's going to not play. He's going to pull a Dante Moore and sit behind Dante Moore.
No way. No way. I can't imagine that. You play for 2 years and you're not going to play? Not that there was a lot of ask for him. It'd probably be the best thing for him to sit. But yeah, and that one affects the NFL draft as well. All right, coming up next. And by the way, I do have one more that I want to get to from the great Snagglepuss in regard to the UFL team. What is it, UFL?
Yeah,
the Aviators.
The Aviators. They've got a team now.
Getting ready to fly.
They've got a roster.
Well, why has Ted Ginn Jr. not been on this station yet?
Great question. I've been trying.
Seems pretty simple.
I've been trying.
I know you have. I know you have. But he should have been on everything, pumping that up, and that hasn't happened yet. So that's something they got to get sorted out at the grassroots level. We'll get into some NFL coaching updates. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Get your furnace fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters, while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Hey, it's Anthony, and of all the things you think about for a new year, the one thing that should be right at the top of your list is comfort and foot pain relief. I've told you my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store have made a massive difference in my life every day. Every time I leave the house, I feel supported, aligned, and I know my body is going to feel better. Not just my feet. My knees feel better. And of course, my lower back. They are so much different than just the over-the-counter insoles. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to balance and strengthen my feet, and I always feel like my feet are being guided into their ideal position. They're strong, supportive, and flexible. I will never wear a pair of shoes without them. When you go to the Good Feet store, you'll get a comprehensive foot analysis by their trained specialist. You'll get a digital foot scan that helps design your personal arch support system and, of course, any follow-up support you need. They have more than 3 decades of helping customers. Make an appointment right now online at goodfeet.com. Good feet, good life.
Start the year moving, not hurting. If joint pain is holding you back, listen up. Hi, I'm Tyvis Powell with QC Kinetics. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. Dr. Tesner and the other medical pros at QC Kinetics here in Columbus deliver regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas that are causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, back. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Simple procedure that can deliver big life-changing results. Skip the pain, skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving better, stronger, planning the year you actually want. Game-changer regenerative treatment from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Call now for your free consultation. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to the Fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app, TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Oh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner? Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crolian?
Oh, no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there, would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/no vapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-472,000, 614-472,000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-472,000, 614-472,000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see a chance of flurries linger for us today. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and very cold and blustery with breezy winds and highs only in the low 20s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the teens. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of snow showers again. Light accumulations are expected, otherwise mostly cloudy with daytime highs getting in the mid to upper 30s and breezy winds continuing. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. We're proudly brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. We were talking about the John Harbaugh, having a little NFL. We'll get into some coaching conversations, the openings that are still there, and kind of what those teams are looking for and why Harbaugh took the Giants, which to me is relatively self-explanatory. But did get this email from the great Snagglepuss, who among the things that I thought was most interesting about this was, he writes, looking at the NFL playoff bracket, looking at the quarterbacks that are left, is the NFL going to let things play out and give us a Sam Darnold versus Bo Nix promoted Super Bowl? I want to say things won't get tampered with, but I also don't believe it. So he's expecting a Stafford Allen. Might go that way anyway, just because those teams are really good. But this did get him to think about This is why the UFL spring leagues don't work. We're not programmed to watch football in the spring. It's standard classical conditioning. Our minds are rejecting it. This past fall, I remember tweeting something. I think it may have been to Reeser. We watch Maction on Tuesday night. We might click on whatever Sunbelt game is on Wednesday. We as a society are swallow terrible Thursday night football matchups. That's why the NFL should adopt a AAA league and produce it in season. If the 49ers had investment in a AAA team, they might have a fighting chance because they've had investment not in their practice squad players, but guys who just went through a AAA battle. Their minds are ready. Produce the NFL games to play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Hell, COVID taught us Wednesday day games were delightful. The sports media field is larger than ever. People would watch, play a UFL game at noon on a Wednesday. Hell yeah. He might be onto something there. I never took the next step of playing it in season while the NFL is being played and while college football is being played. But the AAA model, I think, is the biggest no-brainer ever. That every NFL team, or even a division, if you want to do every NFL team, maybe every team in the NFL North has a roster that is a practice squad that they all play in, or something to that effect. I think there's a pathway for that, because if we'll be at the Combine in a month, and one of the consistent complaints, and I think it played out this year in the National Football League, is quarterbacks don't get enough, especially quarterbacks, don't get enough game reps. They don't. And so because of that, we tend to give up on them a little bit quicker. And I still think that from whether the UFL or the old USFL or the old XFL or whatever, AFL, whatever they're going to come up with, you need to have that relationship with the National Football League, and the National Football League coaches want it. The owners probably don't, because they don't want the expense, although my hunch is they could take it on as a loss leader and have some sort of tax benefits on something that probably loses money. And from a developmental standpoint, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer to have an ability to have guys play more football games. But that idea of playing it in season is pretty dang good. You play Tuesday, Wednesday night UFL games, you might be onto something there, bud.
I mean, even like middle of the afternoon games.
Yeah.
Because, and I was thinking about this with the Group of 5 national championship or a tournament there. Like, there's now more availability than ever for streamers, for if you want to use, the traditional cable model. Even broadcast entities have like their DTV offerings. Yeah. There's so many more spaces and places you could put live sports that would be consumed, that advertisers would have interest in. So the money's there. I even think for coaches, you go to that level and you get developed, so you're not just thrust into an NFL situation that you're just not qualified for.
I think the one issue you might have with that, and we're talking about the NFL fully getting in bed with this spring league and making it a minor league type system.
Yeah.
I think the one issue you're going to have with that is guys playing games on a Wednesday and then being asked to play on Sunday.
For sure, that would happen.
So you're going to have but I like the idea of them getting in bed with these, having a spring league, getting them ready, and then maybe keeping them practicing at least during the NFL season to keep guys sharp, possibly, and ready for the call-up. I think if you had this year with the UFL, if you had guys like Anthony Richardson, and I believe Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to be on one of the teams, and the Aviators are going to have Clayton Tune. But if you had guys like this, guys that need these reps, guys that we know from NFL teams, you're probably going to get some teams like, say, the Green Bay Packers are affiliated with someone, or the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals are affiliated with the Aviators. Maybe you'll get people tuning into that a little more. I just think that would be the issue, is guys playing on a Wednesday and then a Sunday. The league would probably have something to say with that for player safety, I'm guessing.
Maybe, but I think you could get around that. You essentially would treat it like, and I think this is the other reason why it would work. That's why you just did let's use the Aviators because they're here. So let's say you take the Browns practice squad, the Bengals practice squad, the Steelers practice squad, and let's just say for geographic standpoint, the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. You got to remember, NFL practice squads can be poached any time by the league. Those guys bounce around. I mean, I've been doing stuff with the Browns for long enough where there's a guy who's on the practice squad at the Browns, then he'll go to the Patriots, then go to the Steelers, come back to the Browns, then go back here. They just go around and round and round. So, there isn't this sense of, we have to protect this guy from being seen by somebody else. Everybody knows who everybody has. They all know these guys. There are no diamonds in the rough anymore. But I think especially at the quarterback position, at offensive line, the development that could happen there, the skill positions. I think it's kind of I think the NFL would really love it. I know the coaches would. I know that the players would. And you just need something to get the owners involved in. And I do think, this idea of playing it in season is pretty good. The one thing I will say to him on this, though, in regard to the spring leagues, they don't need – their goal is not to rate it like 4 million. Of course, they'd love to get there, but that's not what it is. They want to be around 1 million. They're not really competing against traditional football, college or pro. They're just competing for eyeballs in the spring. So that's men's college basketball, women's college basketball, the NBA, the NHL. That's what they're fighting with for eyeballs. And they just need their share of that. That's the operation.
I'm not going to apologize for taking us in a different direction here, but last night the Columbus Dispatch reported that Todd Haley is going to be the Columbus Aviators offensive coordinator.
Let's go. Fights on the sideline.
Missed that one.
His
path's
fun.
Pretty wild.
He's fun. Yeah. They should put him front and center.
We got Kevin Sumlin in this league. We got Rick Neuheisel in the league coaching.
Yeah. But I do wonder, with players needing development and patience more than so do coaches.
Yeah.
Because we did the rankings yesterday of NFL coaches like on this carousel, and they ranked 33 of them. We're like, are we sure there are 33 people qualified to be a head coach in the NFL? There are 32 jobs.
No, and, the other thing is, like, everyone's looking for that next, McVay, Shanahan, whatever. But for all of the Liam Cohens that hit, there are a bunch of guys who don't. And it's as hard as picking a quarterback. There is no exact science to this. There are all sorts of hits and misses. And that's why, like, the John Harbaugh deal, 5 years, $100 million. Good grief. Of course it was going to be that big. And, of course, they were going to give him anything he wanted from a roster standpoint and from a coaching standpoint, because he's known. John Harbaugh averaged 10 wins a game for his career. Full stop. With different quarterbacks, didn't matter. 10 wins a year, man. That's where it's at. And by the way, that's why Kevin Stefanski has interviewed for damn near every job that's open. I think the only one he hasn't interviewed for is Pittsburgh. That's why he's interviewed for it. Because from his perspective, you guys just mentioned Todd Haley. From Kevin Stefanski's perspective, he doesn't want to be forgotten. Like, you sit out a year or you don't coach for a year, are you going to be in this mix again? If you look at who everybody's interviewing, it's largely the same group of candidates. It's mostly the same. So there's a hot group list of names that go around. It's groupthink in the NFL. Everybody interviews the same guys. A handful of them are going to get jobs. There's going to be some surprises in there. But if you're Kevin Stefanski, you're like, man, there's 8 jobs open now. I got to get one of these. So I stay in this mix. So that's the other part of it, is that side of it. When did the Aviators start? February something?
Yeah, the middle of February, end of February.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all goes. All right, we're going to get some perspective on the John Harbaugh hire, the other jobs that are open, an early look at this weekend's games in the National Football League as well. It is a brand new list of teams. We'll get some perspective with our buddy John Breach. NFL on CBS in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save big on USDA Choice boneless chuck roasts. They're on sale now for just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Spectrum TV Fixed TV and combined all your favorite sports streaming apps with live TV.
32, Blue 32, hot. It's only more Hail Marys.
It's only more bottom of the ninth magic.
It's only more slow motion replays.
It's only getting all the sports with over $100 worth of streaming apps like ESPN, Fox One, Tennis Channel, Peacock, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter,
What do we do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. 10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get smarter on the National Football League. We had it on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with our good buddy John Breach, NFL at CBS Sports, joins us there. John, always good to talk to you, buddy. Thanks for the time. Let's just start with the Harbaugh news overnight. My feeling, and most of the folks that you talk to around the league felt like that he would kind of let it go this week, and then maybe next week would make a decision, and they were correct in saying it would be the first domino to fall. But most people thought this would happen next week. How did the Giants get this done so quickly?
Well, I think the Giants were pretty clear. They did want to get it done as quickly as possible. Their goal was to, hey, let's bring John Harbaugh in. Let's throw the full court press on him. Let's do this interview, and let's try and get him signed before he leaves the building. So when that didn't happen on Wednesday night, there was that thought that, all right, well, Harbaugh wants to go through all his interviews. He wants to meet with Tennessee on Thursday, probably eventually meet in person with the Falcons. So it just sounds like either he went home and kind of started to have second thoughts, like, you know what, why do I need to talk to anyone else? This seems like the perfect situation for me. And then obviously the contract aspect of it, you have to make sure all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, and once you make that decision, though, and that's what it sounds like happened here with John Harbaugh, it's let's just do it. There's no reason to talk to anyone else, and now here we are 24 hours after his first in-person interview. He's blowing everyone else off and taking this job.
Basically, the Giants said, you're not leaving the building. I mean, that's a heck of a job out of them. He's the one universally accepted. Yeah, this guy wins 10 games a year, and I get it. I mean, you look at their roster, you look at the youth, the pieces. Obviously, there were some big injuries they had this year, but if you look at the pieces and you think of the history of the franchise, right, John? I mean, it's just one of the blue blood franchises. I get it from his perspective entirely.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, if you're John Harbaugh, you kind of look around the NFL at these other jobs. We know the Falcons were interested, but they have a lot of question marks, maybe a division that's a little bit easier to win, but they don't have a first-round pick. And then you look at the Titans, and that roster is just decimated, so it really goes down to how you feel about Cam Ward and whether he can be a top-5 quarterback for you eventually, because that would be the only reason to take that job. Maybe you look at the Dolphins because they were interested in him, but, I mean, that franchise feels like it's almost starting from scratch if they get rid of Tua. So they just had so many question marks, and as crazy as it sounds, the Giants probably had the most solid roster, plus they have the quarterback in place. So from Harbaugh's point of view, it certainly felt like probably the best available job.
A job that is open, that has been open only 3 times in the last 60 years, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it seems like, I'm going to take people at their word here, and people who cover that team, that this was Mike saying, I'm good, I'm out, that they fully intended on bringing him back. He said he's out, and so now they are in a hiring search, something they haven't done in 20 years. I made the point yesterday, buddy, on the Steelers. Without the museum, and so what I mean by that is the history, the tradition, the uniforms, all of it, and I understand you can't completely eliminate that, but if you just look at that roster makeup and what that team is, I think it's a really tough job, and I think they probably need a little bit of a rebuild. How do you view Pittsburgh juxtaposed to the rest of these openings?
Yeah, if you just take all the uniforms off and just look at the roster and look what teams have in place, the Steelers aren't that sexy, and it really makes you appreciate more what Mike Tomlin's been able to do. He's been winning games with Kenny Pickett, with Russell Wilson, with Justin Fields, with Mitchell Trubisky. He's been getting to the playoffs and having a winning record. And so when you look at the organization, they haven't done a full reset. And I don't know if that's because ownership has been against it, if Mike Tomlin has been against it, saying, no, we have enough here to get to the playoffs. But now a new coach is going to come in. They're going to have question marks at quarterback. They're going to have question marks all over their offense, not just whether Aaron Rodgers comes back. And even if he does come back, he's in his mid-40s, so you don't know what he's going to look like. Your offensive line, you don't really have any weapons outside of DK Metcalf at receiver. The defense is pretty good, but, yeah, that is a roster with a ton of question marks. So that's not going to be an easy fix in Pittsburgh.
And the other one that is, that's open because of this all is Baltimore. And this one's ready-made. This is go in there and win the Super Bowl. I was trying to think, and I'm not going to put you on the spot with this because I couldn't think of one, an instance, maybe have one at the ready, but like an instance where a true Super Bowl contender with a two-time Super Bowl MVP or two-time league MVP in his prime, that type of job becomes available. It just rarely, if ever, does. What type of coach do you think Baltimore should go after here?
Well, when you look at the reason those jobs never become available is because coaches don't leave them. It'd be like Andy Reid leaving Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes' prime, or Phil Jackson leaving Chicago and Michael Jordan's prime. You just don't leave a star player because that almost automatically guarantees you success, which looks good on you. And obviously coaching plays a part in that. But, yeah, so these jobs just don't come open. I think you can go back to the Chargers back in 2006 when they fired Marty Schottenheimer after he went 14-2. And not the exact same thing, but he just struggled in the playoffs over a period of years. And so they said, all right, you can't get us over the Super Bowl hump. And so the Ravens, it's going to be interesting to see what they do because you want a guy who can get you over that Super Bowl hump. That's the thing that John Harbaugh had not been able to do with Lamar Jackson. He obviously won that one with Joe Flacco back in 2012, but they just couldn't win the big games. They were having these fourth quarter collapses. So I could really see them going either way. You could say, hey, look, we need this person. Let's get an established coach who has a proven track record. And I'm not sure that guy is out there right now. Or you go find a young gun. I mean, they took a chance on John Harbaugh back in 2008, who was a special teams coach who didn't really have – it was kind of a bizarre hire at the time, but obviously it worked out because he was there for 18 years. So – this is what I think they are going to interview far and wide for this job, and it could be a name that absolutely surprises us, or it could be a familiar name. So this one really feels like it could go any way.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's been so long ago but we forget like how out of nowhere Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh were. I mean, they really were. It was shocking that because it was like nobody knew who they were. And they got those jobs, and they had them for all that time. I mean, they hit the lottery with both of them. That's a great job out of you on the Schottenheimer poll. I'd forgotten about that one at 14-2 when he got bounced in San Diego. All right, let's look at the games this weekend, pal. We've got on the AFC side of things. I look at these young quarterbacks. I look at these great defenses, these cult of personality coaches, and I think, gosh, all of these teams as a team are probably better. But then I look at Buffalo and I go, yeah, but they got Josh Allen. And he just did it last week in Jacksonville. If not now, when for Buffalo? And I think I don't know where you stand on it. I don't know. I definitely don't think this is the best Bills team Allen's ever quarterbacked in the postseason. But this opportunity in front of him might never be repeated again, my man.
Yeah, if you're Josh Allen, if you're Sean McDermott, you really feel like your back is against the wall, and it's kind of a now or never situation. If we can't do it now, we might not ever make the Super Bowl. And so I feel like if those guys are feeling that pressure and Josh Allen's thinking, all right, I got to put the Superman cape on because that is the only way to beat this team, I think we'll see a huge game from him. But the question is, you have to go to Denver. You have to play the Mile High Air. You're doing it on 5 days rest because you just played Sunday, and Denver's coming off a bye. So it's not going to be an easy game. Obviously, no game is at this point. So it is really a tough game to call. Really, all four of these games feel kind of like coin flips. But I do think the Bills have the making of a team that can win because you don't need to rely on Josh Allen. I think if James Cook gets going, that would help a lot because the Broncos defense, if you can run on them, you can beat them. And then, they're missing a couple receivers, but I don't think that that's going to kill the Bills offense because something the Broncos struggle with in their passing game, their defense, was the ability to stop tight ends. The Bills have the perfect way to attack that with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. So I do think that Buffalo can absolutely win this game. And as you said, Josh Allen is the X factor. It's just he's a little banged up. So what's he going to look like? If he's a step slow, the Broncos defense is going to eat him alive. But if he puts on that Superman cape, man, I feel like the Bills will be headed to the AFC title game.
Yeah, fun games. I'm with you. I can talk myself into either side. You know, I could kind of do it with either side on almost all of these matchups. The one that's a little surprising to me, and it's the number, it's Niners at Seattle. And I know we just saw this a couple of weeks ago, and Seattle handled them bigly. But as much respect as I have for Kyle Shanahan and what they did last week in Philly, to see Seattle favored by 7 surprised me. Did it surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just assuming, like you said, it was a couple weeks ago. We just saw this exact game with a lot on the line because obviously when you're playing for the number 1 overall seed, that's pretty much a playoff game because you're getting a bye through the wild card round, and the 49ers offense just pulled a no-show. So I'm assuming because the Seahawks won by 10 and held the Shanahan offense to 3 points, that's a lot of the basis. And that game was at Levi Stadium down there in Santa Clara, and obviously this game is in Seattle. So that is a big change. I thought it would be 4 or 5 points, but 7.5 is huge. I mean, that's just a gigantic number. But the other part is, there's no George Kittle. They had George Kittle in that Week 18 game, and they still couldn't crack 200 yards of offense. But when you look at this game, to me, the X factor is Sam Darnold. I mean, he has not come up big in any of these big games. Even when you go back to Week 18, he didn't throw for 200 yards. He threw 0 touchdown passes. He struggled, but the Seahawks ran the ball, I think, 40 times. And so they kind of took the game out of Darnold's hands and designed a game plan where they said, we're not going to let our own quarterback beat us. And so I think we'll see a lot of the same. But Shanahan is a smart guy. He's never lost in the divisional round. Brock Purdy's never lost in Seattle. So there's a lot of reasons you could talk yourself into the 49ers. But just based on what we saw 2 weeks ago, I feel like the Seahawks probably end up winning.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. It always is. Always enjoy the conversation, bud. Thanks for your time.
Yep, thanks for having me, Bill.
All right, there he goes. John Breach, our good buddy, NFL at CBS on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer, or Wegmans.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. We saw on your recent West Coast trip what Gabe Cupps was able to bring. We've seen what he's done defensively, but the game at Oregon where he scores 9 points, is his experience what is kind of big payoff there?
Well, he missed last year. I think he does have some experience, certainly as a freshman, but his aggressiveness is the most important thing, and that's what we saw at Oregon. He's got to continue to be aggressive, play with that mentality more consistently now, and if he does, it'll really help us.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Jake, also want to ask you about Ivan Yagovin, and he's seen his minutes kind of increase a little bit. Is his size and physicality something that's been an increase in what he's been able to do in his second year of college basketball?
Yeah, he's gotten stronger. He's gotten more athletic, and he grew since he got here. So I think yes, his size has helped protect the rim, and for us, it's helped us in rebounding and both sides of the ball. So we got to continue to get him more opportunity.
And has his time on the floor helped his skill development too?
Yeah, he's finishing well in the paint. Got to continue to play with poise, continue to use his size and physicality to his advantage. But we've been really happy with what he's done so far.
Okay, this is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through February 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on any new 26 Highlander or Grand Highlander, including hybrid models, with approved credit through TFS. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Save a good deal more during the Meijer Dollar Deal Sale, January 7th through the 20th. Shop the entire store and choose from hundreds of items, all $1 each. Fill your basket with favorites like Kraft macaroni and cheese, sparkling ice, sparkling water, select varieties of seedless cucumbers, and Meijer facial tissue. The Meijer Dollar Deal Sale. That's the good life, a good deal better. And don't forget to stop by the Meijer Pharmacy for your flu shot. Available today while you shop. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com for details.
Get ready for the college football playoff with a $9.99 haircut coupon from Great Clips. Kick off your game day look with convenient online check-in and the Great Clips app. The skilled stylists at Great Clips salons will save your haircut details in clip notes. And with a $9.99 haircut coupon, you'll score elite savings too. Visit greatclips.com/football to get a $9.99 haircut coupon. But hurry, offer ends soon. Great Clips, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Valid only at participating U.S. salons. Terms apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, indeed you are. Time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Earlier this week, Amazon reported 31.6 million viewers for the Packers-Bears wildcard playoff game this past Saturday. That's the most streamed NFL game of all time. It surpasses the previous record of 27.5 million that was set by the Lions and Vikings on Christmas on Netflix. Viewership in this past Saturday's Packers-Bears game peaked at 34.1 million. The game marked the most concurrent viewers and highest single-day global viewership ever on Prime Video. The 49ers Eagles on Fox drew 41 million viewers. That's the most watched wild card game since 2015. Thing or not a thing?
It's just stupefying numbers. Just out of the gate, it's stupefying. I mean, this is not an NFC Championship game, and the Niners Eagles did 41 million. 41 million viewers. I mean, you got World Series games, you got NBA Finals games doing 3 million. It's a divisional game doing 41. I mean, it's just the NFL's power and reach is just annihilates everything else. The big thing that's a thing here, though, is the numbers on the streaming service Amazon. I assume that most of the country has Amazon Prime now, so with that, of course, comes the subscription, comes the app, and the ability to watch all of that stuff. Those numbers streaming are only going to get bigger and bigger because more and more of you out there are becoming more and more accustomed to this. There's a generation that's aging out of, and I'm still one of them, that does the cable and all of that stuff, and I have all this streaming stuff too, but we are more and more accustomed to this now than we've ever been, and I think those numbers are only going to go up bigger and bigger. That's massive for the NFL, because the one thing the NFL hasn't really done yet fully is let companies like Amazon, YouTube, Netflix, let them actually bid for the full NFL package. To this point, they've kept it on network for the full NFL package. They throw you a little nugget here or there, the scraps. But those numbers tell me they're getting closer, and that means way more money for the NFL.
So I think I'm one of the few people that is not an Amazon Prime member.
Whoa.
I wonder, though, if Amazon Prime sees these kind of numbers, if they're going to do, because everybody, I believe, right, everybody that has Prime can watch their television. I wonder if there's going to be a thing where they keep raising prices.
Yes.
Or if there's going to be, okay, you can be a Prime member, but you have to pay more to watch. Or if there's going to be separate. I wonder how that's going to go when they see the success of this. I was super impressed with the college football playoff TV numbers when they came out, and seeing them get over 20 million in one game, and I think Ohio State and Miami was like 18.9 or 18.3. These numbers dwarf that.
Yeah.
And I know we live in a town where Ohio State is king, but the NFL is king in the world and in this country right now. Like, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it when I saw these numbers, Bo. 41 million for the Niners and the Eagles. That's insane.
Yeah.
Sticking with media rights conversation, Front Office Sports says that ESPN's deal with the NFL, which includes a takeover of NFL media in exchange for the league taking a stake in the network, could clear regulatory approval as early as April. Such a timeline would put ESPN on track to take over significant new inventory and promotional vehicles ahead of its first Super Bowl broadcast in 2027. ESPN's going to own NFL Network and license NFL Red Zone, while also folding the league's fantasy football products into the worldwide leader. Part of the deal, the worldwide leader also took over rights to 3 additional game broadcasts per season, which are going to air on the NFL Network and potentially ESPN's unlimited standalone service. Thing or not a thing?
This remains a shocking thing to me. I'm surprised that the NFL Network, that I know why they did it, because they didn't want to run a network anymore. Like, I get it. And the cable model is going away, so that's why they did it. So they need someone to lift it. So that's part of it. I just am a little surprised that the NFL Network is going down this road, and I think it kind of stinks for football fans, because I do think the NFL Network provided a lot of really incredible content through the years, and now a lot of that will go away. You've already seen that. I mean, they've sliced a bunch of jobs and a bunch of on-air folks, off-air folks, so it's already less choices for you, and so I think that part of it is a kind of a sucky thing.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bo. And it seems like we're having more and more of these big mergers with companies where you're going to have the same people controlling everything you hear. And I just don't think that's good. ESPN does some great stuff, but I don't think what they do is always right. And the NFL Network really has some great coverage. If you're into NFL football, they have some great stuff and a different perspective. So it kind of stinks a little bit. I would hope that ESPN would try to leave the NFL Network alone and try to let it be a little different, but we know that's not the way it works, because big companies are all about the bottom line, and they're going to do things to make it as profitable for them, not maybe the best experience for the viewers. So this is a little bit of a disappointment to me that the NFL Network is going to be kind of folded into ESPN here.
Yeah.
On his family's podcast, The Henry Legacy, incoming Ohio State freshman Chris Henry Jr. talked about why he stayed committed to Ohio State.
I love Ohio State. Ever since I got the offer, I just knew I was, wanted to be there. Everything always just felt right. I always felt at home when I came back. The reason I stayed for Ern was really just because that relationship I had with Coach Harline. Obviously he left now, but, I feel like Ohio State is still going to be, receiver U, and it's still going to stay the same. We're still going to keep, producing guys. It's like a machine, for receivers. I'm excited to be there for sure.
Thing or not a thing?
I mean, that's pretty standard of what I think a big-time receiver would say there. The crazy thing for Chris Henry Jr. is, like, he kind of needs to be a dude the second he walks on campus. Like, he needs to be, as it stands right now, from a roster composition standpoint, he probably needs to start, doesn't he? I mean, I'm just thinking about the receiver room.
I mean, he needs to be Carnell Tate.
Yeah, he's opposite Jeremiah with Brandon Ennis in the slot, and I'm sure they're working to try to add a couple of more names, but as it stands right now, it feels like he needs to be a starter because the last two recruiting classes where they had 5-star kids in their operation are both gone. They're both at Notre Dame. Graham's at Notre Dame, Porter's at Notre Dame, so he needs to be a dude right out of the gates.
I couldn't help but when listening to Chris Henry Jr., and I'm not going to shed a tear for him because he's going to get compensated well to play college football and probably compensated well to play football at the next level after that because he is a ridiculously talented kid with great lineage. Obviously, his father playing in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals and all that. And I know it's always been this way in college football especially, but I just couldn't help but feel a little bad for Chris Henry. Like, he's built this relationship the past 3 years with Brian Hartline. And built this relationship with him, and this is a guy he wanted to go play for, get developed by, be the next first-round wide receiver in the COG here at Ohio State. And then literally right before his signing day, when he's supposed to commit to Ohio State, his coach announces he's going somewhere else. And some people were like, oh, my gosh, what are we doing with Chris Henry Jr. when he doesn't sign on signing day and takes a couple days to figure some things out? I'm sure that's tough for an 18-year-old kid, especially an 18-year-old kid that's lost his father in his life and has already had people that he depended on that went away. And I would think that's very difficult with him, and not only with Ohio State, but it sounds like his second school was Oregon. Yeah. And the guy that recruited him mostly there was Will Stein, who also left. So I couldn't help but feel a little bad for him and understand that week was probably crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was. Final hour of the program coming up next. We kick it off attempting to beat the house. A little bit of Shelley time on the new era for the Columbus Blue Jackets at the bottom of the hour. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Tri-State Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Tri-State Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations in the area to serve you in Hilliard and Westerville.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Now's the time to buy or renew your 2026 dog licenses. Not only are dog licenses required by law, but fees support the Franklin County Dog Shelter and Adoption Center. Buy or renew your dog licenses today at franklincountyauditor.com.
If you win playing the new Ultimate $5 million scratch-off, you don't have to tell anyone. But there will be signs. Signs like courtside seats. Signs like a water slide attached to your bedroom. Signs like upgrading your clunker to something less clunky. With over $200 million in prizes and the best odds in Ohio history to win $5 million, this is your sign to play the Ultimate $5 million scratch-off. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
New year, new you, new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus, and the deals are built tough. Drive home the all-new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% financing for up to 48 months. Need more muscle? The 2026 Toyota Tundra delivers with 2.99% financing for up to 72 months, or take $3,000 in customer cash. Germain Toyota has the truck and the deal you've been waiting for. Shop today at Germain Toyota of Columbus, where selection, value, and trust come standard. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Plumbing problems? Logan Services is here to help. We offer free estimates on water heaters, water softeners, sewers, and drains. Don't stress. Instead, take action and book your free appointment now. Logan Services.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun, and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live. For the better of myself, my family, my weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. John Harbaugh is set to become the next head coach of the New York Giants. It'll be a 5-year, $100 million deal for the 63-year-old Harbaugh. He'll bring Todd Monken along as his offensive coordinator. There are 8 current vacancies in the NFL, including Cleveland and Pittsburgh. On the field, the divisional round begins Saturday at 3 in Denver, with the Broncos hosting the Buffalo Bills. In college football, Ohio State landed a kicker out of the transfer portal Wednesday. Redshirt sophomore Connor Hawkins comes up from Baylor. He was 3 of 4 from 50 yards out last season. The winter portal window closes on Friday. In other news, Austin Sareveld and Carson Hinsman announced they'll return to Ohio State in 2026. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore says he'll return to Eugene for his final year of eligibility. And on the ice tonight nationwide, the Blue Jackets look to make it 3 straight, hosting the Vancouver Canucks at 7. Elvis Merzlikins looks to get the nod in net. You can hear Blue Jackets hockey with pregame coverage tonight at 6:30 right here on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Thursday edition of the program. A little bit of Shelley time coming up in 29 minutes from now. One of the SEC presidents says the quiet part out loud. We'll get to that in about 16 minutes. Time now, though, to beat the house, or at least attempt.
Beat the house.
All right, guys, so last week, Reese and I both went 4-2, picking the opening round of the NFL playoffs. Bo, unfortunately, you have some ground to make up. You were 2-4. We have 4 games, just 4 games to pick this week.
Before we get into this, is there one, before we get into our picks, is there a game here that you are like 100% bet the vast estate this is happening?
No.
I think the one I'm closest to would be the 49ers and Seahawks, because that point spread seems a little big to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the one I'm closest to.
I think I'm the same, but for probably a different reason than you.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making is I don't know that I can't tell you the time, and some of it has to do with who's not here, right? I mean, the usual suspects are not here. You think about San Francisco with the injuries and all of that, and that's a part of it. But you think about no Mahomes, no Lamar. We've been just conditioned to see these guys at this time of the year, and they're not there, and especially Mahomes. It's so jarring not to see Kansas City. I mean, they've been the gatekeepers of this thing for so long. And when I was talking with John Breach 20 minutes ago, or whatever that was, half hour ago, the thing that I really could talk myself into In 3 of these 4, I could talk myself into either team winning, let alone the number. So I think it's going to be a fascinating weekend of football at the NFL level. So, I was curious if you guys had one where you're like, I do have one that I feel like lock, stock, put it on this one. We'll see if it comes through. Go ahead, Vic.
I can't wait when you make the pick. Did you tell us which one that is? I
went 2 and 4, so don't be too excited.
This all gets underway Saturday afternoon, 4:30. The Buffalo Bills traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos, 1.5-point favorites on the road. This is Nance and Romo on CBS. And Romo told us all he was sick last week. That's why he sounded weird.
Yeah, he's...
That's not the real truth.
He's having a tough go. He had a tough go of it. And he's with Nance, and Nance is the best. It's kind of tricky. I'll tell you what, where this one's concerned, everything should tell you to take Denver here. They have the extended rest. They have this defense that's unbelievable. They play at altitude. The Buffalo Bills played Sunday, so a short turn for them coming off of a team with big rest. And I would not be surprised if Denver won this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won this game relatively comfortably. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But in the end, I just come back to, can Buffalo keep it close enough to where Josh Allen has the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter when it matters? And my hunch is that they will. And the big reason for that is I don't think Bo Nix is going to run away from anybody offensively. So I think they will. And so then because of that, I think Buffalo's going to get it done out there. Give me the Bills to win this thing outright, and I'll take the 1.5.
Jim. I think this is an uglier game because I do think that, with Buffalo, it's just Josh Allen heroics throughout, but Denver's defense is really good, so that'll be a fun matchup to watch. I think Denver wins. I think it's close, but give me the Broncos.
So to cover, right? You haven't winning by more than...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cover City. Yep.
So this game screams to me 27-24, 24-21, just something in that range, and it is a last-second play that gets that done. I've said for a while now, if Josh Allen can't do it this year, win. And if I think this game is coming down to a final play, I'm going to go with the best player on the football field, and that's Josh Allen, I believe. So give me the Bills to win and to cover. 8 o'clock that night, for the third time this year, the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks match up. This one is in Seattle. The biggest line of the weekend, the Seahawks favored at home by 7, Reese.
So the last time they played was week 18?
18, yeah.
And the Seahawks were favored by a pretty big number, and I said, well, that doesn't make any sense, and I picked San Francisco, and I was wrong. So I'm going to do the exact opposite now. There's your analysis, kids. Give me Seattle to cover.
Yeah, I think Seattle, it was 1.5 or 2.5 they were favored.
Oh, so it wasn't very big.
At San Francisco. But I was like you. Like, why are they favored? San Francisco's annihilated everybody. This doesn't make sense. And then Seattle just punched them in the mouth. It's just too many points. I think this is an overcorrection a little bit. I could see Seattle winning this game. I could absolutely see San Francisco winning this game. I think this is a really tight, competitive game. I just think Kyle's going to have something up his sleeve. I think he's the best. I think he's one of the best coaches. He's probably the answer to the question of best coach to not win a Super Bowl yet. It's probably Kyle Shanahan. I think he'll put him in position to succeed. I think Purdy will play well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners won, but quite honestly, I don't need him to. I just need him to cover the 7, and I think they will.
So when these two teams played earlier in the year, the 49ers won by 4. And then as you mentioned, Reese, they played at the end of the year. Seattle won a gross game 13-3. I don't think this one is gross as that 13-3 game. I think there's a little bit more points scored in this one, but this is just too many. This game is going to be like a field goal game, and I think the Seahawks win, but that's too many points. The 49ers cover, and they stay within the 7. On Sunday, we've got this could be a gross game too. The Houston Texans in New England taking on the Patriots. The Patriots are favored by a field goal, Bo.
This is the one I'm most lead pipe lock on, is this New England situation. It's interesting because Houston got a terrible game out of C.J. Stroud and still beat the Steelers 36. But I think that had more to do with Pittsburgh not being any good. I think New England is pretty good. I think you're going to see a little bit of Travion Henderson get going a little bit in this one as well. And I think it's going to mirror their game against the Chargers a little bit. I see it very similarly, like kind of a slugfest and then eventually pull away. I like New England, and I'll throw the 3.
Man, I'm looking at ESPN right now, and it's moved to 3.5. But we've already made the pick as 3. Damn. I think this will be close.
We got it at 3, Reese.
Give me the Patriots.
So, Reese, with you saying that, that makes me even feel a little better about this one. Because I do think this is a low-scoring game. It could be kind of similar. I mean, the Patriots played a gross game with the Chargers last week. So it could be similar to those 2 games that we saw from both of these teams. I just feel like the Patriots, I don't know if it's quite a touchdown, but I feel like the Patriots are 5-6 points better in this one. So give me the Patriots to win and cover. 6:30 Sunday night, Bo's Los Angeles Rams in Chicago to take on Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and the Chicago Bears. The Rams, the only road team favored this weekend, Reese. They're getting 3.5.
So if you're into these sorts of things, Chicago at 6:30 is supposed to be 20 degrees and light snow. I think it's going to be snowing in the Windy City all day Saturday and most of the day Sunday. Give me the... And I don't even know if I'd put in... This didn't even have anything to do with my pick. I was just curious. I like the Bears here to cover. I think the Rams win, but I think it's close.
There's a rock band from my time in high school and college called that was called the Blues Traveler, and they had a song called The Hook, and it brings you back, and The Hook brings me back. If this is 3, this would have been a much difficult decision for me, but it's 3.5, so I'll take Chicago and the 3.5. I think this is going to be a field goal game either way.
I'm surprised.
Nah, I mean Bears are the team of my youth. I mean this is. These are the monsters of Midway, the team of my youth. I could see the Bears winning this one outright. I've seen ghosts when it comes to the Rams after what's happened the last 2 times they went to Carolina. So I think the Rams are going to win it, but I think it's by a field goal. So I'll take that hook and I'll give me the Bears.
Bo, speaking of Blues Traveler, you think John Popper's going to be at the national championship game snorting it up with Michael Irvin?
Why not?
Gotta love a harmonica.
He loves it.
He could jam on that thing.
He really could.
So... At the beginning,
one of the most startling when you saw the video and went, wait, that's the guy that's singing this? Of all time.
Yeah.
That one or Darius Rucker. Those 2 are the ones that you're like, wait, what?
He'll always be Hootie to me.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, I thought, no way the Bears would be here. I just thought it was too early for them. Loved their pieces. Wasn't sure about Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think he's proven everyone wrong, except for the people that were on his side. He had a lot of doubters. I think he's proven them all wrong. I just thought this was a year too early for the Bears, but they're here now, and somehow Caleb Williams keeps making plays to win games and when they matter the most. I think the Bears not only cover, I think they win.
Look at you.
Give me the Bears.
Look at you. Real quick, which one of these do you think will have the most eyeballs on it? So last week, to be fair, and people forget about this, people always think Sunday Night Football has the biggest numbers. Last week, it was the Sunday afternoon game. That's always the highest rated, is the Sunday afternoon game. It doesn't get the attention because there's also another one that goes opposite that gets a bunch of eyeballs. But it's really Sunday afternoon where they really, really make a little bit of hay here. Which one do you think gets the most eyeballs?
I do think it is the Sunday night game. I was going to say Saturday with Buffalo and Denver, but you got Los Angeles and Chicago, 6:30 Sunday night.
I think it's probably that one, but I could see it being the Saturday afternoon game too, because you get both parts of the country. When the Bills are a story and the Broncos have a big fan base. So it's one of those 2 afternoon games, I believe.
I'll tell you what, if Bills Denver was Sunday at 3, I would have went there.
Yeah.
But I just think Saturday will harm them a little bit. And I think the big thing, to your point, Reese, the thing, I'm with you. I think it's Rams, Bears. And I think a big reason is 6:30. It's not 8. It's 6:30 on the kick.
Great time out west, even pretty decent time centrally.
Yeah. And by the way, why can't the NFL just do this? Just start these games at noon. Do like noon, 3:30, and 7:30. Now you're talking, baby. Now you're cooking with some gas. A big move yesterday in terms of the NFL draft and a quarterback returning, how it could reshape the way that we view the Big Ten next season. And the SEC, one of their flagship presidents, says we may have to take matters into our own hands. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Getting cold feet? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Weekend. The Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Ohio Credit Union, is back and bigger than ever at the Ohio Expo Center. Whether it's your first adventure or you're a seasoned outdoor enthusiast, this show has it all. One ticket gets you into all three buildings so you can see the latest in RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, and more. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more. It's all here. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 9th through 18th. Get details and tickets at OhioRVandBoatShow.com. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Start the year off moving, not hurting. With joint pain, if it's holding you back, listen up. There's a way to get relief without surgery, no downtime, and without putting your life on pause. Dr. Tessner and the other pros right here at QC Kinetics in Columbus, Ohio, they can deliver regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair areas that are causing you the pain. Those achy hips, knees, shoulders, back, wherever it hurts. And the results, 97% of Cleveland patients report satisfaction with their results. So instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments, they happen right in office and you go about your day. I should know. I've had them. My dad has had them. They feel good. They can deliver life-changing results. Imagine moving around better, being stronger, planning the year you actually want. Do not wait. January is supposed to be a clean slate, so make it yours. So go call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Oh, okay. We've got a little song today, eh?
Yeah, spent quite a while working on that one. Thought I'd sell more windows if I had a catchy window jingle.
I like it. You know, jingles aren't really our thing at Pella. We just stick to the highest levels of quality and design thing.
Oh. Wish we would have thought of that. Doot.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Big savings right now with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Boy, it's the perfect time to upgrade your ride. You can lease a new Honda for as low as $199 a month, or definitely take advantage of rates as low as 0% financing on select models. Rich will even give you an additional $1,000 for your trade, even if you don't buy a Honda today. They have more than 400 new Hondas in stock, and the deals are the best around. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Disaster strike, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
It's easy to think of winter as a time when not much is happening in the landscape or in the pest and disease world. However, there are a couple of services that can help your trees and shrubs during the colder months, like horticultural oil and anti-desiccant applications. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org to learn more and to find an ISA-certified arborist in your area who is trained and has the proper equipment to perform your tree work safely.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see a chance of flurries linger for us today. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and very cold and blustery with breezy winds and highs only in the low 20s. For tonight, partly cloudy overnight with lows in the teens. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of snow showers again. Light accumulations are expected, otherwise mostly cloudy with daytime highs getting in the mid to upper 30s and breezy winds continuing. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No? The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, we talked about this earlier in the program, just to update you on it, this college basketball betting scandal that is kind of being uncovered in the moment. We do have a list of names. I didn't recognize any of the names in terms of the players who were on it as I looked through it very quickly. But one thing that is pretty interesting is 4 current players are named in the indictment. Now it's Simeon Cottle, who plays at Kennesaw State, and Eastern Michigan's Carlos Hart, Delaware State's Cammy and Shell, and then Texas Southern's Omar Qureshi, maybe. And apparently all of this started from it was Chinese interaction and then gamblers here overseas, and so that's how it all kind of shook out. But 4 current players named in the indictment, and honestly, that's kind of smart to do to choose those. To choose those type of games, like who's watching those that closely? Like you start trying to do something like this at Ohio State or certainly one of the big blue bloods like Kentucky or Kansas, it's going to get sniffed out pretty quick. But at Kennesaw State, my guess is people aren't watching those games that closely, and so you can get away with it at least for a little while. So there's an update on that, and I'm guessing you're going to see more and more of this to come, fellas.
Yeah, it says that the group that started this targeted college basketball games offering bribes to players ranging from $10,000 to $30,000.
Sure.
Which, yeah, if you throw that into a kid that's playing at Coppin State, he's probably thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it, but that's kind of the box that you open when you allow all of this.
And the interesting thing is, Bo, those 4 guys you mentioned have all played this week. One of them played last night.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how, and who knows if this stuff was going on last night or not. And Reese and I were talking about this off air. When you were 18, if you flashed $10,000 cash in front of some, probably a lot of things you would do.
Yes. Yeah. Fact. Of course you would. I was surprised Dante Moore went back to Oregon. I was surprised.
Same.
And it has nothing to do with Dylan Raiola at all. I was surprised that Oregon took Dylan Raiola. That to me meant that they missed on others. Probably Damon Williams is the one from Washington. I'm guessing that's who they thought they had, and they panicked and scooped up Raiola. But instead, Dante Moore returns next season at Oregon. I think there's a decent chance that Oregon will open next season number 1 in the country, with him returning at quarterback and everything else they've done in the portal and recruiting and everything else. I would think that they would be on a very short list of teams that will be ranked number 1 in the country to start the year. The reason I'm surprised is because it felt like he was going to be quarterback number 2 and potentially going number 2 overall. And instead, because you have 2 quarterback needy teams at the top of this draft, and instead he's going to be in a pool of incredibly talented players in 2027. And I saw Louis Riddick tweet something like this, and I just will give a little credence to it. And Lewis is great at everything, and I think he makes a hell of a point here. Remember a year ago at this time, we were all saying the 2025 class maybe isn't so great, but wait till you get a load of 2026 with Klubnik and Aller and Manning and Sellers and all of this, Nussmeier. None of that panned out. So to Lewis's point, and just to buttress it, we have no idea what 2027's quarterback class is going to look like. It feels like it's going to have Arch Manning and Julian Sand and now Dante Moore and whoever else. Sellers will eventually be in a class, like those type of things. But you don't know how these guys are going to be viewed. Fernando Mendoza was on the NFL's radar for sure going into the transfer portal and heading to Indiana, and he was a big fish when Indiana got him, and that we've talked about it. That's when he served notice that Indiana wasn't going anywhere. But he was not in the conversation as going number 1 overall. And now he is. So the biggest winners of this Dante Moore conversation, Mendoza, although my guess is he was probably going to go number 1 anyway. Now that's locked in. So he's a winner. Ty Simpson's a winner because he now becomes QB2 in this thing, and I would not have a whole lot of interest in that based on what I saw at Alabama. And then Oregon's a big winner because they're going to start the year number 1, and they don't have to start Dylan Raiola. They can start Dante Moore for another year. So that's a big win for Oregon. And I think the Big Ten wins, because I think, once again, the Big Ten is going to be the best conference in college football. I mean, if you just think about it, Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana's not going anywhere. You saw what they did in the portal already. I think Michigan is going to be vastly improved with Whittingham and with just competent coaching and quarterback coaching. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think Matt Campbell's going to start a little bit on second base. I mean, he's basically brought Iowa State's program with him. So he doesn't have to teach new things to anybody. He's got 30 kids from Iowa State who've come to Penn State. Now, they're not on the level of the Penn State players who left, but at the same time, they know him, they know his system, and I think Penn State will have immediate success. So I think the Big Ten is setting up to be the best conference in college football by a pretty decent margin again next year.
Yeah, having Michigan full of serious people and a serious operation is good for everybody. I look at Michigan, I look at Penn State and kind of how they, in different ways, fell ass backwards into a better coaching situation, I think, than what they had last year. If you're an Ohio State fan who's sitting there going, damn, I'm sick of these big noon kicks, this is just what has to happen.
It is.
You got to have Michigan and you got to have Penn State. I don't know where I'm at on Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State. I mean, they pumped $400 million into the athletic program, and they want for them to be kind of what Texas Tech and Indiana are doing. I don't know if Pat Fitzgerald's necessarily the guy to lead them there, but yeah, if you're asking someone to take stock now in a conference, I think most people are still looking into the Big Ten because Kurt Cignetti's still there too.
And as you mentioned with Pat Fitzgerald, I don't know if he's going to get Michigan State to competing for national championships, but I do think he will get them to competing.
Just competence, what we need them right now.
Yeah, but they'll be competing for college football playoff spots, I think, eventually with him. I don't see why they can't be Penn State, what Penn State has been.
Well, they got the finances. We know that.
Yeah, so I don't think that's a stretch to say this is a Big Ten conference that I think the three of us all think will be winning their third national championship in a row on Monday nights. And I think you can make an argument this year, even though it didn't play out that way on the field. I think there's an argument that the Big Ten had the three best teams in the country this year with Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. I think that argument can be made. And I mean, they were already in the running for a while with the SEC as the best conference, so I don't think that's a stretch at all to say that the Big Ten is the best conference, not only next year, but maybe moving forward.
I mean, just think in the preseason poll, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Oregon, Indiana, USC, Washington, those 7 out of the gate are all going to be ranked. And they should be. All of them should be. Remember, USC's got their guys back too. So, it's going to be it's going to be really top heavy. That league's going to be a massive test every single Saturday. And if you look at the Buckeye schedule, you are definitely going to see that. A couple other things I want to get to really quickly here. University of Georgia President Jerry Moorhead blasted the CSC and the NCAA for their lack of action around proper governance and enforcement of the rules. It's hard for me to read that from an SEC school. Like, really? All these years you were left alone to just do whatever you wanted?
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
Come on, guys.
Moorhead's a former member of the NCAA Division I Board of Directors, even went so far as success. The SEC will break off on its own and create its own rules. You mean like it did for the previous 30 years? That's me parenthetically. If the CSC, this is his quote, if the CSC is not going to enforce the House settlement, if the NCAA is not going to enforce tampering rules, and if Congress is not going to pass the SCORE Act, then it leaves the SEC in a position that we have to go our own way to create some rules and a level of responsibility. Moorhead told Ross Dellinger, we'd be able to make much stronger argument that we are not in violation of antitrust rules because we don't have market power. Yeah, I mean, I think all of these things are in play. Ross Bjork was on with Adam King and Tim and was asked about some of the frustrations of where the sport is right now, and he did discuss the open market.
The frustrating thing is we can't get our arms around the money piece, and we can't govern that piece because we'll probably end up back in a courtroom. And we all thought the House case settlement was going to capture enough of the upside. We were all worried about how are we going to pay for $20.5 million? Well, now we're trying to create third party, and we have here, to go way above that. So we have a soft cap, essentially. So to me, we've got to really look at, can we truly govern the money anymore? And should we worry about that? Should we just make it an open market? And then on the structural pieces, here's the things we can do. And this is where we might need federal legislation, is we can make sure that this is still about academics, have academic rules. We can do our calendar a lot better. We can probably categorize employment in some manner around these athletes and, get some federal oversight from that standpoint. We need to make sure that we're protected from not being in the courtroom every single time we make a rule. We could probably have some recruiting structure. We could probably get that codified through Congress. But anytime we try to codify the money, it leads to this.
Pretty candid from the athletic director at Ohio State. You heard him talk about, he used the word employment in there. He did discuss the calendar. I mean, he's talking about a true open market. I mean, that's European soccer is really the only true open market in sports is that where you can go wherever someone will pay you more. And even they have financial fair play rules now where you have to show profit. You can't just take losses over and over and over again. So this is conversations being had out loud now, guys, that we've been talking about for the longest time. That's how desperate all of this has gotten over the last couple of years. And so it feels like it's really crescendoing right now.
I'm seeing something from the head coach of Southeastern football, who responds to Ross Dellinger saying, "Hey, President Moorhead, why don't you and Commissioner Sankey start by enforcing yourselves? Our football team and an SEC GM contact one of my players last night who wasn't in the portal to tell him to get into the portal. Take care of your own yard. Hashtag hypocrites. Hashtag broken system." I love college football, man.
It's the best, but that is happening everywhere. Coaches at Power 5 programs are calling and contacting Buckeye players on the roster and saying, jump in the portal. And the same is happening on the other way. Like, this is the sport. This is the lives we've chosen. So someone's got to do something, and at least they're finally saying some of that stuff out loud. Jackets back in action. Game 2 for Rick Bonus. Mr. Shelley will join us for a little bit of Shelley time in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Have a good day. Stay warm. So my teenage son just went to school in shorts and a hoodie. It's 3 degrees. At least I know he'll be warm in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Ah, you do want the coat.
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Winters can be brutal here in the Columbus area, and if you're cold in your home, even with the heat on, your old windows are the problem. Window Nation can help. Right now, during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale, you could get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. It's easy to get the right windows to fit your home and budget. The pros at Window Nation will guide you every step of the way. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Schedule a consult now at windownation.com. Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Gloves. Shelley time.
Indeed it is, and he joins us on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Jacket's back at it tonight, my friend. Did you say, you're with this team all the time, you travel with them, obviously, for the most part. Did you see what happened with Dean Evison coming?
No, I didn't. A pretty drastic move after, the road trip wasn't great, but, they get a pretty good win in Utah where it looks like they're kind of playing that game that they've expected to play where it's really hard to get wins and everyone's got ice bags on after. And, then we get the news that he's out and Rick Bonus is in. I definitely did not see it coming.
Did you, now that it has happened, and we're going to get to Rick, and I'm sure you have some familiarity with him. He's been around a long time, and what he can bring and some of the reasons for it. If you were to get into Dean's mind or get into kind of the way that this happened, this 1.5-year sample size of him. Where were the missteps for him that led to this, do you think, from management standpoint?
Well, I think that after last year, exceeding expectations and players having career seasons and just missing the playoffs, I think this team should have made the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there were some moments in that 5-game losing streak where, you add a couple players at the deadline, but there was still some tinkering that could have been done. It's just, I go back to that and I look at that and I look at this season where, the effort is there, but there was something missing. And, when you look at it, Dean Evason hired his coaching staff, it's a young coaching. It's not a lot of experience on the coaching staff. And they were given their roles. That's how he coached, was like they all had their own duties, and he really empowered them all, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But, there were times when you kind of felt like, the experience of Dean needed to be more of the overtone. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I felt like there was a disconnect somewhere when you look back at it where, just watching Rick the other night, he was very vocal, all over the bench and very detailed and nipping things in the bud. Whereas I think Dean did that with video and behind the scenes more. And it's just a different style. Something was needed. They made trades. It wasn't really, they were still kind of floundering. They have injuries. But I just think it was maybe the technical part of the game. I think these players now, these new generation players crave it. And when you have, the talent of Kent Johnson, that, I know he has deficiencies in battle sometimes and maybe some defensive errors, but he's a talented young player who averaged 17 minutes last season, and his average this year was 13. It's 4 minutes, not penalty killing anymore. And just, when you're not scoring and, the way the defensive zone had holes in it, you just kind of felt like it wasn't game to game. It wasn't changing. It wasn't improving. So there needed to be a more tactful approach. And I think that Rick Bowness brings it.
Yeah, and first game for him, you saw that. I mean, Kent was out there 20 minutes, and Fantilli was out there 20 minutes, and it was like, and I think for the general Blue Jacket fan out there, the by and large, like you look at those two guys, and of course some other ones that are out there, and you say, well, those guys need to be like pillars, and obviously Fantilli really needs to be like a massive pillar of the organization. And I mean, you think about how Carlson is off to the start that the year that he's having in Anaheim, and then immediately when Rick gets in there, you see the ice time come in. So I think there's a very clear line that you can draw from management to the actual team on the ice, that more needs to happen with those young guys. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it feels like they needed to see it on the ice now before too much time passed.
Well, yeah. I think that Don believes in this team and probably a certain way. I've never been a general manager, but I'm sure if you have the pieces and you believe in them and you see what they did last year and all of a sudden they can't do it this year, then that's where the coach has to coach those players. And, that means putting them in situations to succeed and different situations in game using different players. I mean, we saw Rick Bowness the other night go with the same lineup that won in Utah. Except for Severson, who was out with illness, and Matejchuk, who was injured. And he went with the same penalty kill. He trusted the coaches there. You could see he was assessing what they were doing and how they worked. And those things will all change as this goes along. And but I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, listen, this team is what it is. They've drafted players, and they've believed in them. They have experience now, 4 years for Kent Johnson, 5 for Cole Sillinger. Cole Sillinger's had 5 different coaches now. Like, this is something that has to be where you got to lean into those guys and a little bit more. And I think that you're going to see that here with Rick Bowness.
What can you tell us about Rick in terms of what he's on?
He's a great guy. I mean, he is Dean Evason's a great guy too. Don't get me wrong, but Rick Bowness is he's in the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. He's from the East Coast of Canada. He's been in hockey for his entire life. And, if you've ever been around him, he talks about his family first. And he's a guy that is, as a person, you're not getting a better like salt of the earth person who has time and a genuine twinkle in his eye to meet people, and he's as a coach, he's demanding, but he's positive, and he's got the experience of over 2,500 games. Like there's no one else that's in the world that's been on an NHL bench more than Rick Bowness. He's seen everything in every situation. He's watched from afar and missed hockey for the last year and a half, and he is appreciative of this opportunity. And I just think he's a really likable but demanding, passionate, and fair coach. And I've talked to a lot of people about him. I've known him for a long time. He's a great addition here, and I think he still wants work. I mean, that's the first thing he said. It's not, you got to work. We got to battle. We got to compete. We got to be nasty. He likes the nasty as well, but he also is a guy that can relate to the stars and try to get the best out of them. And I think that's a key here.
We saw it, and I think it was Charlie who said it post-game Tuesday after the win against Calgary. He said he didn't stop talking the whole time.
Yeah, well, I love that. I mean, yeah, he was coaching. He saw something the very first shift of the game. He wrote it down. He told the guys when they came off the ice exactly what he saw, and it's a correction shift to shift. And I think that's important to hear from the head coach. I mean, that is the man. And I played for Todd McClellan, who's in Detroit. He is very much like that. You get feedback immediately. And it's concise. It's to the point. It's not to hurt your feelings. It's for the good of the team. I played for Hitch. He was very vocal on the bench. And it's kind of like he's not just talking to you. He's talking to you, but the message is going to 4 or 5 guys beside you. You know what I mean? Like it's like learn as the coaching is going on behind you in game.
Yeah, it was a difference for sure. And again, I like Dean a lot too. And I think he deserves. I said this when this happened. Like he deserves for what he did last year was incredible. The hand he was dealt and the way that he handled it. One of the great coaching jobs I've ever seen in hockey or anywhere, quite honestly.
He's a character guy. He's a character guy. And you know what? You're right. He was up for Coach of the Year last year with what he did with no expectations on his team. I agree with you.
Yeah. Now we got a little cavalry coming over the hill here. Get Branson back? Did I see this right?
I saw that right as well. I'm in Detroit Airport, so I read it along with you. Yeah. The Branson's back. That's big, especially we talked about it the other night, me and Steve Mears on the broadcast, in front of the net on the penalty kill. It's got to be a harder place to hang out. You see anywhere around the league now, any team that's trying to score goals, you'll see the shots from the outside, but it's a battle in front of that net, and that size and length is a key. And Goodbranson, we know what he brings: a physicality, a snarl, and a big stick, and he keeps it simple. And I think that's really good to have him back. Of course, it's a boost for the veteran leadership too. And then Severson's back. He was ill last game, so that's good. Good to have him back. I'm sure he's anxious to get in there with a new coach and kind of show what he's all about. I mean, that's what this is now. It's show me what you bring. Show me, and it's effort and will to win your shift for the team. That's the individual assessment Rick Bowness is making first with all these guys.
And we got Elvis Annette. Did I see that? I guess you and I are kind of catching up on all of this. So Elvis Annette tonight as well.
Elvis, and that's good for Elvis. This is a fresh start for everyone, and I think that's very important for Elvis Merzlikins. And, Rick Bowness has had some of the best goaltenders in the league. He's been in Dallas with Ottinger. He's been in Winnipeg. With the goaltending there is some of the best in the world. So he's been there. He's, how he handles Elvis, what he can get out of him, how Elvis plays tonight. He knows his team. He's watched the NHL for the last, from the beginning of the season, and he knows and he wants to get the most out of these guys. So Elvis tonight goes in there and hopefully he just does his part.
Get you out of here on this one. When there is a position like this and a coaching change was made in real time, Hitch said, and Porty relayed this to me yesterday, I'd forgotten about this, but that the easiest pregame is the first one because you have them by the throat, right? So and we saw that in what we saw against Calgary.
I can hear Hitch say that.
Can't you? Right? I mean, it's just it's perfect. How do you make sure that this initial adrenaline hit becomes who this team is. What are you looking for tonight in terms of this team from a response?
I think he set the bar last game with not just standing there as, sit back and wait and see what's going to happen. He's demanding. And I think that's a smart way to set the table. You come in high and his main currency is ice time. Mm-hmm. Players want to play on the power play. Players want to play on the penalty kill. They don't want to sit on the bench. And right, that's the currency he has. So maybe as soon as tonight we see adjustments and changes and guys getting moved around, and then you'll see guys in and out of the lineup, and it's things to make sure that everyone takes notice of, there's some non-negotiables, and the currency will be used. And I think that's, established from being on top of the players from moment one and staying on them. And you know what I like about this for Rick Bowness is he's coming out of retirement. Mm-hmm. He's committed to do this till the end of the season. He's going to do it for 13 games, and then there's a break. So he's not going to get burned out. He's going to be able to step away like everyone else, come back, and see where they're at, and then push from there. So it's a very unique, but I think a very advantageous situation for the team and him right now with the timing of this hire.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of that stuff. Safe travels, buddy. Good talking to you as always. We'll do it again soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks. See you tonight.
Absolutely. There he is. A little bit of Shelley time on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do three things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer, or Wegmans.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together. All of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Rothman and Ice.
They've revolutionized the money clip. What does Tyvus Powell carry?
Say this word for word. You got that clip on you?
Oh, he's going to think you're talking about that.
What is that?
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Playoffs? Yeah, we're watching the playoffs at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Join me, Scotty Vegas, and Dave Biddle from On the Money Saturday, January 17th, starting at 4:30. The inflatable football toss will be out to show off your arm and win prizes. Watch and bet on the playoff games at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where Michigan fans get pie in their face, and you won't find better value than the steak dinner. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what are we on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, which of the 4 NFL divisional round games are you most looking forward to watching this weekend? Bills and Broncos, Niners, Seahawks are your Saturday slate. Texans, Patriots, Rams, Bears will be on Sunday. Both of those Sunday games you can hear right here on The Fan. But 34% of you say Bills and Broncos Saturday at 4:30 is what you're most excited to see. Then Rams, Bears, the Sunday nighter. Texans, Patriots, 29%, and 49ers, Seahawks, the least excited for that one.
I think sometimes people, it's common sense, but like, I think sometimes maybe we don't realize just how popular the Buffalo Bills have become in the Josh Allen era. Like, they are probably everybody's second favorite team, and I think that probably plays into it a little bit. It'd be pretty sweet in their final year of the old stadium and all of those things for if they could kind of break through on this thing. All right, time for 3 things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
All right, number 1 for me, Stuart Mandel passing this along in regard to the Nielsen top 10 local markets for college football viewing. Number 1, Birmingham, Alabama. Makes sense. Number 2, right here, good old Columbus, Ohio. Dayton was 3rd, then Greenville, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Atlanta, Knoxville, New Orleans, and Jacksonville. What's interesting is as much as the game has changed, I think these 10 cities, for the most part, are always the 10 cities that have the most eyeballs on college football.
Bo, it's interesting you said that. I literally just bookmarked that to have for Thing and Not a Thing tomorrow, so we took care of that.
Yeah.
With the Dante Moore news of him returning to Oregon next season, I was interested in the quarterback rankings for the 2026 NFL Draft. And, of course, like we talked about, Mendoza's number 1, probably Ty Simpson. Garrett Nussmeier is their 3rd highest ranked quarterback, followed by John Mateer, Carson Beck at 5, Cade Klubnik at 6, Diego Pavia at 7.
Jeez.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
I saw Diego Pavia was in one of the Senior Bowls he's supposed to be playing in this year. So
great.
He already expected it.
Drew Allers at 9th on this list if you're interested. Trinidad Chambliss at 8.
Drew Aller should have went pro before he played that national semifinal game, and he would have been a first-round pick last year.
One of the things I love about The Athletic is you can find every kind of sport there. You want hockey news, you get it, college football news, NFL, but they also do a great job of covering some high school sports. And yesterday on The Athletic, they had a story about a kid, Adrian Stubbs, a high school kid who plays for Maryville in Arizona, who scored 100 points in a basketball game. Then this morning, they have a story about the Johnsonburg Rams, who beat the St. Mary's Flying Dutch last night in a high school basketball game in Pennsylvania. Okay. And the final score was 9-5. 14 total points scored. Not sure what the difference was last night. These two teams have played twice in December. St. Mary's won 42-35. Johnsonburg won later the next week 37-30. According to the NFHS, though, that's not even near the lowest scoring high school basketball games ever. In the 1920s and 30s, we had 3 1-0 games, and there are also documents of several 2-0 games. High school basketball, let's adopt the shot clock everywhere already.
Yeah, hopefully, I know that's something that's talked about a lot. That there would be a win there for sure. Number 2 for me, so I caught up on a couple of episodes of Landman last night, season 2. The show is just incoherent. It's completely incoherent. And yet, it's incredibly enjoyable because Taylor Sheridan, the creator of this universe and the Yellowstone universe and everything else around it, my guy can write dialogue and he can build a world. So he takes you a place you've never been before, and then you get snappy dialogue from really good actors, and you almost forget the fact that everything that they're talking about makes no damn sense whatsoever. So somehow that's worth $1 billion because that's what Peacock and NBC are paying him to flip from Paramount to Peacock. And so I guess you're going to get that on that app now going forward. But the story is absolutely incoherent, but it's still a fun watch.
So, Baker, to your point about The Athletic, Dane Brugler this morning updated his 2026 NFL mock. Mendoza's going number 1 to the Vegas Raiders. Arvell Reese, he's number 8. He's going number 2 overall to the Jets. The Cardinals are taking a tackle out of Utah. Titans are going with Carnell Tate from Ohio State at 5. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. The Browns are going with Francis Mauioga, the offensive tackle out of Miami, with the 6th overall pick. The Bengals, you'll like this, Cincinnati. Ruben Bain, the edge from Miami, and then the Browns have the 24th overall pick, that one from the Jacksonville Jaguars. KC Concepcion, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. So there's playmakers that are there.
Feel very confident it will be tackle and wide receiver for the Browns.
It should.
Mm-hmm.
Bo, you talk oftentimes that your wife doesn't realize what you're doing these hours of the day. Sometimes I don't believe the higher-ups here at the building know either. We got an email yesterday that next week we're going to get a generator test at 10 a.m., just right in the middle of our show, obviously. Nice. Then we got an email this morning saying that we're going to have a fire drill today, a fire alarm test sometime this morning. Well, I don't think it's happened, but to have alarms going off and lights going off and all this stuff right during our show, like, can't we do this at like midnight? Nothing's going on.
Nobody's here. You got to do it when everybody's here.
You got to do it. The whole station's here. This will be our collective 3. Obviously, cold weather, snow, all of these things throughout the state. Be safe out there, kids. You start to see these updates of multiple trucks jackknifed on freeways. Like, be safe. Take a little bit of an extra second. Slow down. Be courteous to the folks around you. Take care of each other out there. And certainly this time of year, we need it more than ever. Rothman and Ice coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may